found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of Hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun.
Wherever you go, you can listen to the news. You can sleep with the blues on this wonderful, wonderful station. Just take a lively companion wherever you go. Take a portable radio. Take a portable radio.
Now, here comes the music.
If ever there was a day that we may not have been prepared for the show, today may be the peak of that, because though Kat and Al
That's a high hurdle to
oftentimes are not prepared. I was exceedingly not prepared for this show today by any stretch of the imagination.
A race to the bottom.
Right?
You know what we should have done? We should have not told anybody that and then just see if they notice.
Yeah.
Oh, how would they ever notice? Really, they wouldn't. I mean, we've set the bar so low.
The carefully crafted shows go so poorly.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a really organized show since we did the last Moonshine show like 5-6 years ago.
You're calling that an organized show?
It was because we planned it.
Oh.
We planned to do the Moonshine.
Planned to get fucked up?
And then it just, no, but that was I think the best attempt at it. I don't know. But anywho, we are here in the studio. Kat Carlson is here along with Al Perkins. Marnie is in the middle of a project tonight, so she's not going to join us. But Doug is en route. He was finishing up, I guess tonight was a final test for whatever the class he was teaching, doing whatever was going on with him. So he's said he was going to wrap that up and come right over. So Doug
lovely.
will be filling in the fourth seat at our oval table. Hi everybody in the chat room. Bear Walker, where have you been? I haven't seen you in for a while in the old chat room.
Allegedly buried in his basement. We're not sure.
Wow. Boy, did you notice the
know if
bodies?
yeah.
I mean, go on inside.
Not really sure if
every
it
once
was
in a
a
while I gotta
hostage
rearrange them right
situation
exactly.
or a life alert situation. I'm not really sure what happened there, but
Oh my God! Speaking of life, you know how Facebook shows you ads for all kinds of shit all the time. I don't know why. They now have a thing that is
because they listen to your browser and your search history, and then they feed you things.
But there would be no reason I would need this device yet.
I get a lot of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's a fall device indicator you put on your wall in the bathroom, and I guess it senses you there. And if you walk out of frame, it's fine. But if all of a sudden you drop out of frame, it sends an alert and it will call, whoever you
So
designate.
don't bend over and reach for something
right.
underneath. Yeah.
I don't know how long.
Don't sit down to cut
but I'm
your
like, really?
toenails.
Who figured out this little sensory thing?
Or maybe you get a second to like delay the emergency services if you've just sat down.
Right.
Right. How many
I hope there's
seconds
not
would
like a photo radar on it, like timing the speed of the.
of the fall? Well, they've
like
got,
what if it's one of those
That's
slow motion
control
like,
descent. We're
well,
fine.
they have those. They have bike helmets now that sense a fall, and they have it's an air thing. Or the cars.
I've seen
the
those. Those are cool.
They have those. There's other things. Well, what else? There's something else there's a shock something in your phone or whatever. So if it senses a certain abrupt stop or something, it can send a message or some shit. I don't know. There's all kinds of this.
I just can
technology.
imagine because I have been a ground level fall risk all weekend, so I can only imagine. I have fallen off 1-inch curbs, 5-inch curbs.
Oh my gosh.
Tripped over this, bumped my head on that.
And you were a fall risk in a whole nother city.
I was sleepy. Yeah, just sleepy. It was very, very damp, cold.
Well, you were active for somebody who was sleepy, according
yeah,
to your
we
check-ins.
we did some walking.
Oh,
The one day we did it's like 7.1 miles or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
intentionally?
Yes. Part of that Pasadena Pacers that Harrison
Oh, right.
does.
I forget about them.
What was that? So we did Saturday we walked 9.2 miles altogether.
Wow,
Yeah.
you look thin. You look good.
Thanks. And then Sunday 5.2 miles.
That's 12.
Yeah, and then 2.2 miles yesterday.
14. My God, look at you. What is going? It's crazy.
Wait,
Yeah.
am I at the right show? We've
I
got
know.
exercise and math.
I know.
I think I'm in the wrong room.
I'm only able to do it because we're doing in increments of 2.
Yeah.
I still feel
Oh,
like
if
look,
I walk-
look how early he is.
Hello. If I
this the
walked any
right
great
room?
distances, there would not be any math. But yeah,
No.
so the Pacers thing, the runners were all on some running what have you, I don't know what.
That's what runners do.
Yeah, but they were like running some distance to a place to go and have like a lunch, and then they would get rides back. It was some like one-way marathon for like a brunch or a benefit,
Okay.
or I don't know what the fuck they were doing. So the people that weren't running and didn't want to go were not able to go as far.
like a turkey trot, if you will.
Right, we're doing something a little bit different, and so
Right.
Harrison organized this walk that she said was. First, she said it was 6 miles instead of 5, and then it was 6.3 miles, and then we finished. It was like 6.9.
She knows you.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, Jesus Christ. But it was good. Everybody stayed, packed, but it was just cold, and I just kept wanting to lay down. Like every time the opportunity would
Frowned
come up,
upon
I'm
at
like,
those walks.
Can
yeah.
I please lay down? Not during the walk, but then
Oh,
for
sure.
the rest of the weekend. And like, but so I guess we're just jumping ahead to what I did. So we went
Well, that's fine.
we went to the California
Great
Science
job.
Center.
Way to
and,
keep us on track.
Oh yeah, I saw your picture.
that was really cool. We saw the space shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
The
Which
Endeavor.
one was it?
The Endeavor is there, and then the rocket booster is just outside, and they have it on seismic plates. So if there's an earthquake, it's on plates that move so that the space shuttle won't get damaged in an earthquake sitting
Sure.
Oh, cool.
sitting sedentary, which I was not at all prepared for. I mean,
that seems like a
smart
very NASA
thinking.
thing to do.
Now,
Yeah.
Right.
somebody who's never been in front of, nearby, or seen one in person, is the space shuttle as big or as small as you thought it was?
it's a little bit smaller. Like it's not like the size of it doesn't seem like it's the size of the length of an airplane, but it's very high.
Okay. Yeah, well, the
But,
cargo bay can hold
yeah.
it. Yeah.
But just a really cool thing, and just a little book ending of the story. In 1980, my parents and I went to Florida. I missed quite a bit of school as I was recounting the tale, and we had seen the space shuttle because of the delays. The program was already supposed to have started in 80, but there were delays because of the heat tiles not being able to get the heat tiles right.
Right.
So they were still there. So we actually saw it being moved towards the either to the runway or back.
Oh, cool.
Or
Because
to
that was
launch
quite
pad.
the production.
Yeah, and you just stood there and watched it move like a quarter of an inch because it moved so slowly. And then they had the video of it being flown into Los Angeles because it piggybacks on top of like a 747, which is how when they were testing it, because it doesn't fly.
Right.
It falls from the sky. It falls through orbit, and then it's a glider. It's not an actual plane.
Right.
The wings and the tail are just for fun. They don't have anything to do with.
Yeah.
They're for maneuvering.
Probably because jet fuel would probably explode at a certain temperature and pressure as they're entering.
Yeah,
and
so
leaving the
there was some
atmosphere, I think.
interest. There was a couple things I wish I had taken pictures of because of the factoids on them. The one was about the wing and the tail.
It might be online if somebody wanted to
Yeah,
look it up.
I'm sure
on
it
the
is. But it was very interesting, and then so to see that land again on this, and they showed it coming through Los Angeles.
I remember when they did the news reports about all the signs they had to cut down and trees
Yeah, and
they
trees
moved
as
and
they
do
were
all this
going,
shit.
and it was 68 hours it took to get from the Marina del Rey, the harbor there, to UCLA at the Science Center.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool. And we saw a thing about volcanoes and a 3D IMAX movie about volcanoes, which I'm always a sucker for that shit.
Sure.
Documentary of people getting way too close.
Sure.
But hey, thanks for almost dying and taking a picture.
Great HD video you got there.
Good job,
Thank you.
guys. Good job.
Well, cool. At one point, I looked because honestly, I'd forgotten you were even out of town, and I drove past your house to go to the hardware store over on that side of town, and I'm like, well, Al's out of town. So stopped by, checked your mail, yada yada, everything was fine, and then I looked to see where you were on my phone, and I was able to actually see an aerial shot of the Quonset hut. Because
Oh,
that
how
you've
fun.
talked about, because you've only talked about it, but I've never looked when you were there.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, my God, it is like an airplane hangar.
Yeah.
Or whatever that is. I would be very curious to see it in person someday. But how would you? Is it just not a garage with a little room built into it? How?
No, it's quite large. It's very large. Like
No, it looks big, but I mean, I
Yeah.
don't understand why this Quonset hut is on this property.
at some point, one of the women that lives in the main house used to live in that house. Then when she moved up to the main house with her to help care for her friend, they had this unit, this thing.
Oh, we
this
doing
pod,
friend? We air
this
quoting
hut.
friend?
Now, I guess they really
It's a
are
thing
friends.
ladies used to do is
All
just
right.
move in to care for
But
their
I
friend.
Sure.
think they really are friends.
All right, well,
I don't think anybody would
They're
care
not
one way.
euphemism
Yeah, I
friends.
don't think they're euphemisms.
by the way, those of you who are listening to this show or watching, I don't know. I realize you cannot smell the studio. What in the hell do you have that smells so good?
Pepperoni pizza.
It's like
from,
pizza.
I didn't realize that AJ's sells it by the slice. I thought you could only buy a whole pizza.
Yeah.
So I don't really like anything in there. I had a sandwich for lunch today. I'm not eating a second one. So I was like, what am I going to get for dinner? And I looked over and they sell it by the slice. I never knew
I
that.
had no idea. That
It's-
smells lovely.
No, I would have gotten you one
Well,
if I would have.
I didn't know. Now we
should have
know.
called
Now
that.
we know.
Now
I
we
brought
know.
little brownies.
I saw
though.
the brownies. I'm happy
have those.
if you bring sweets and food into this studio. That is good. I mean, we're still
should've just
working
I
on.
should've bought a whole
We're still
pizza.
working on the cult intensive gummy
Yeah.
bears.
Gummy
Well, all the
bears.
good ones are gone. Is the problem.
Yeah,
Right.
now
Don't you have a favorite color, Al?
They were.
Oh,
It
okay.
was
Yeah,
purple.
He eats the purple, and I sit here and I bogart on all the
Now
red
you
and orange
can't open
ones.
that.
Literally, all that's left in here is blue, green, yellow, and some weird peachy colored ones.
I was going to ask
I'm
you
gonna
how
investigate.
California was, but I think you just answered that.
yeah, the weather was just ugh. But then I knew
yeah.
that my friend Karina her husband is in town too, but he's in Vegas for a conference. So I knew that I was going to meet up with her today, and it was going to be a tight, like airplane to pick her up. So I was like, you know what? I'll just look up one of those parking places. I have to tell you, first off, always fly to Burbank. If you get the choice, fly to Burbank. That airport is so goddamn easy. And
I've heard that from
so
other people.
Fast. So flew out of Burbank, which was delightful because they load outside from the front and the back. So once they call your number, everybody just swarms that plane from every direction, and the plane's loaded up in like 2 minutes.
That is
Guys, get on the plane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just get on any direction, any seat, keep it moving. Nothing
Right.
to see here.
Like
And,
me
you know,
loading up the minivan.
There's only, I don't know, maybe 15 gates altogether. It's a very small
Yes, I've heard
airport, so
that.
like there's no,
That's nice.
there's no security issues. There's just nothing going on. Then
It's
got
like
here,
airport light.
yeah, walked out, got into parking 2. This time it's personal.
Uh-huh.
Van and got to my car, got in my car, got the car wash, and got up to her, and all in like under 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a wham bam, thank you, man.
The only thing that
And we even took the west. We even landed from the west, so we didn't have to circle the airport. We just like Burbank into Phoenix, dropped the goddamn bird on the ground.
Oh, sure.
oh, got you just shot right. I
Yeah.
see.
Which every once in a while you get lucky with that. You don't have to circle the whole.
Now
fucking
I've
city.
heard this from about Burbank though, and is it similar to San Diego? When Burbank, you just come in and they drop that plane, and they just take off just almost vertical.
That's John Wayne.
Oh, I thought that was Burbank.
It's Orange County. John Wayne is the space shuttle one.
And the
I
first
would-
time you do a takeoff like that, wow,
Oh, you know.
it's like this.
Yeah,
Right,
you only have to take off from John Wayne once to know
To where you
Yes.
are.
John
And
Wayne.
I only did it one time.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. For some reason, I thought it was the other one, but all right. I'm
I got into Burbank so early.
gonna pass these to you if you'd like to take one
Thank
or
you,
just
sir.
do one.
I'm gonna wait till later. I'm
All
gonna
right.
I got into Burbank
stare
so
at them
early
a while.
because again, there's just no bullshit once you get there. Your luggage just
They
shows
just
up.
hand it to you
Yeah.
off the plane.
You're walking by.
Right.
I mean, it really is that fast. There is no baggage downtime. You're just out of there. So I had time to like sit there and Google because I was convinced that either John Wayne or because Burbank is really Bob Hope, Orange County is John Wayne. That's their names. Mm-hmm. They're trying to get rid of the John Wayne name because he was horrible.
Pretty racist, yeah.
So they're trying to get rid of that. But I was under the impression that one or the other was their actual personal airport, and the land was donated. That's not true of either one.
Oh,
Bob Hope did keep his plane
At Burbank?
At Burbank, and it was like unofficially called the Bob Hope Airport
just because of that.
just because it was there.
Okay.
But it wasn't until he died that they changed the name from Burbank to Bob Hope. And John Wayne they just named it after him after he died in the 70s.
No.
And now there's a push to be like,
Can we get rid of that?
he's kind of a pig.
I drove to John Wayne once to pick up somebody that was flying in or some friend. I don't
Were they
remember
like
what.
this?
What? Huh?
Or were they like this from Fear?
I don't recall that part, but I just remember thinking I didn't know the airport even existed back however many years ago it was, and then I'm like, really? This is it? I'm here?
But if your trip is going to Disneyland or anything
That's where
Orange
you go?
County, that's where you really want to go. Like if you're going to Newport or something, I think the reason I flew into there was for Taco Bell for the management courses in Newport and Irvine. I think that's where they flew as either America West. So in reading about it, it's listed as one of the scariest airports in the world, and I guess most planes take off at like 5 to 10 degrees pitch, and this one takes off at like 30.
Yeah,
Because all the noise things and the length of the runway, it's just death.
No.
They warn you.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, honey.
We're doing something, for those of you that don't know, we're doing something called the noise reduction thing, and we're going to go straight up into the air
Like
now.
a rocket.
And then you
Hold
just
on
do.
to your
There's
wigs
like
and your keys.
That's about it.
So it did make
It's
me giggle
terrifying.
that the internet even listed as one of the scariest
Oh, okay.
airports.
It is amazing for those of you who have never flown like that, and I don't think. I mean, I'm sure I've been on an aggressive, ascension before, but when you watch the videos of them testing the planes, because that's one of the things they have to do. When they take a 747 and they just go vertical, like they just come up, wheels up, and they are just straight up. You're
Yeah.
like, you just don't think a plane can do that, and it's just astounding to watch. But
And like Burbank can't land a big plane, and because I read the whole internet, like I said, I was early, and like John Wayne can't take that big of a plane.
it's like a 37. It'd be about it.
Yeah, there's some limits on it, but it was interesting to read because, like I said, I had time, and I had always
What
thought,
did-
always really thought that was John Wayne's personal airport. That when he died, he like bequeathed it to
What
Orange
did you?
County.
What did
I
you
like
fly?
that story better.
Southwest.
So was it a 37?
That's all Southwest flies.
Oh, that's right.
They grounded their Maxes, but they all
No,
they fly.
no. I wasn't even going into that direction. I was thinking I wasn't sure if you took a twin turbo prop out of summer, but no, they do 37s into Burbank.
That's it. That's all
Okay.
Southwest flies. They don't have puddle jumpers. Thank Jesus.
I forgot.
One size fits most.
I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's
There
like a
was-
second belt, sir.
I was snowed in or trapped by weather somewhere, and the people at the desk were trying to amuse everybody, and they had a trivia contest, like just to keep, and like the winner got something, but it was just some way to keep the natives from starting a revolution because the whole airport was fucked, and it was just fun, and that was one of the trivia questions, and I got it right. Was like, we only fly one kind of plane. What is it? And I was like, well, I do read that safety thing every time, and I've only ever seen a 737. I am the
You
nerd
thought it was
that
just a
reads,
coincidence
that
that you were-
carefully reads the safety brochure.
You could probably just recite the whole thing verbatim by this time. You've flown so
Oh,
many
and it's
times.
mostly because I'm going to be, a lot of times I'm asleep before they talk, so I want to make sure there's nothing tricky or which one floats if we are in water, so I don't
Right.
go the wrong way and end up with the swimmers.
Which one's my life preserver? The seat cushion, or is it under my seats?
Oh, and it seems like it's going to be awfully tricky when I'm panicking to figure out where that thing's hidden.
Yeah, I don't know.
But again, like the zombie apocalypse, no heroes here. I'm heading for the bottom.
Listen, if Samuel Tarley survives, so can you.
I'm going to cut a finger and swim towards the shark. You know what I mean? I'm not floating around without cable for 3 fucking days waiting for somebody.
Fair
No
enough.
cable in the open seas.
In the open sea. As soon
Write
as the
that
sunblock's
down.
gone.
Don't try to save Al.
It's the final day.
Just say goodbye.
My
As always, no heroes in my story.
My DVR does not work. It's not responding.
Well, there might be heroes in your
Going to
story, but
die.
you're not alive to meet
I
them.
won't be alive to tell their tales. So what have you been up to?
The usual, just a lot of work.
Yeah?
Countdown to summer vacations.
How's the
and
Empire?
Sick of everybody's shit.
How's the Empire doing?
Empire's good.
Yeah?
Yeah, Empire
Order.
is.
Why go? What the fuck? Everything.
I don't. You're blowing up over
Oh,
there. Is
right.
everything okay?
Oh, Marnie. Yes, Marnie, the show is live. I don't know
No,
if
no.
you're
We're doing it
We're
pre-taped.
doing it live.
Oh, that was on the other night again. Yet again, someone ran that clip.
Of course they
It's so good when you
They
just
do
see
that.
it again.
No,
do. Yeah.
It never gets old.
that's good.
It does.
it live.
If we do it all the
do
time.
it live. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's just how mad he is.
Oh, fuck God, he was so mad. So mad. And now even when I hear him, because he's been doing a commercial for some other product recently, and just when I hear his voice, I just think, you're just a mad man. You're just an angry person.
You're one of those angry people.
Don't be
I know,
angry.
we did
Don't
not
be
have
angry.
a chance to get a photo with the T-shirt.
That's all right.
And I've
all right.
just
It
a
happens.
little bit more thought, and it would have been taken next to the space shuttle.
That would have been super cool.
I know, that would have been cool.
Been really cool. Well, you know what? I'm going to get you a new shirt, too, and we can travel that one around sometimes, too. I will. We're going to do some new shirts this summer. And what else? I bought a monster printer that doesn't work yet, so I get to work on that for a while.
Now, let me ask you a question
Yeah,
about
ask
this.
me all the questions that you want.
Does it actually print monsters?
Does not. No,
Or-
actually, at the moment, it doesn't print anything.
Oh, okay. So it's just a printer.
So,
It is-
so monsters are still possible.
It is maybe down the road. No, it's a big, large format commercial inkjet printer.
Okay.
And I, spend all kinds of time on classified ads, and some apps you can kind of favorite different items, and then it notifies you when somebody changes the price. So when the price of the item went from $900 to $150, I said, "Well, gosh, I have to have that now."
Fuck.
Well,
What?
I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but now
Did
at $150,
somebody get fired over that price change?
No. I mean,
That's
just some guy selling shit out of his storage. Apparently,
Wow.
he needed,
$150.
by the looks of him, money for Cheetos and video games.
Okay, well,
noble pursuit.
Mom said get out of the basement. You've got to
Right.
live on your own.
Mom said you got to pay some rent. He said, "Well, I got to sell some of this shit."
Yeah.
I don't know what
Like
happened.
cost me
Okay.
one monster printer.
Right. He was maybe 30 years old and didn't look like he'd seen sunlight in about 20 of those years. So
Huh.
he was a gem. But anyway,
He was a gem. He was lovely.
Frequent listener.
Yeah, I'm sure. When he's not
From
on
the
his
cave,
Xbox. Right. Jesus.
but
Okay,
yeah,
so you bought a
so
printer for
I got the
low, low
I got the
prices.
notification, and it's a very expensive printer, brand new, or was. They don't make
Wow.
it anymore, but
Oh, this is also sounding positive too.
super fancy.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
okay.
it's an Epson printer. It's the Stylus Pro 4900 if you want to Google it.
Oh
I know.
my!
But I think it may need a new print head, so I may get to invest another couple $100s into it.
But still,
before I'm done.
overall, you're still saving
But still,
money, right?
overall, right?
He might come through with a fire sale price.
No, I looked at all of his other crap and I saw his storage bin. There's nothing.
What
else
did you say
there.
it was? An Epson what?
The Stylus Pro 4900.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I want to see us. I want to see us.
It's bigger than I thought. Is kind of a
look at
challenge.
That,
It's
look at that.
giant. It would take up almost this whole table.
Oh, here's one on the eBay's for. Oh, it's $300 plus $200 shipping.
Right.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wow, that's a good. I'll get a picture of it and show the the people.
Yeah. Maybe I spent $150 for a fun story and to take some shit apart. Or maybe I spent $150 for a really great printer that can do some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Wow.
To be continued.
Who knows where
we'll
the
find
adventure
out.
lies?
I thought maybe this was going to be part of the shirt empire. Was it able to print something
so it
for
is.
the shirts?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it is.
So backstory.
They're part of the process is printing a transparency film so that I can project the image onto the screen, so that I can print through the screen.
Nice.
And the challenge that I have right now with the setup that I'm using is I'm not getting quite a complete blackout on the film. So you want to print black ink onto the film so that it can block the light that you're shooting at the screen.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. So a little bit of light seeps through, so I'm not getting as crisp of a detail in small, tiny details as I want. So this printer will do that and more, like so much more.
Nice.
Yeah, it will. If it turns out working, I'll basically become the poster printer for the bar and several other places.
that's going to
and,
get a lot
like,
of
it's
use.
Well, and it
Yeah.
has to get a lot of use because this particular unit is known for kind of drying up fairly quickly if it's not used on the regular. So I will be looking for
wow.
venues to
Yeah.
use my awesome
Oh,
printer.
ugh.
Like, anybody need any photos printed? Just send them to me. Honest to God.
I'm laughing because sometimes when you find a picture of
You
something,
gotta oil it up and use it.
Right, we got to use this bit
sounds
somehow.
familiar.
sometimes when you Google a picture of something, you'll get tiny little pictures that are crappy that are whatever. For some reason, this one has no backdrop and it just does this. Boom! Like it's that big of a printer. It overtakes the whole studio.
Wow. That's about right.
It made me laugh when I scaled it to
Actual size,
I'm
yeah.
like, holy shit!
It is huge, though. It's like 36. It's almost 3 feet wide.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little longer than 3 feet.
Well, I know, but I can't get my arms around it.
A
to pick it up.
yardstick
It's a
is 3
two-person
feet
thing.
long.
All right.
36 inches is 3 feet, that's what you said?
Right.
Right, but this isn't 3 feet. However,
This isn't, but this is.
Yeah, I can give her that. Judges are gonna allow that.
Trust me, I had to unload the thing out of my van by myself. I know how big it is. It's
fortunately, you'd already got the theater seats
She
out of there.
hugged it. So you can sit in your theater seat and watch things print, watch monsters print.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my whole plan for summer.
In the best of
Just
all
sit in my
possible
theater
worlds.
seats.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've also started stocking terrible ramshackle commercial properties that I might be able to afford to move all that shit out of my garage
Oh gosh, yeah.
into a place,
Huh?
which would be really
That
great.
sounds like a personal story. The day I had to move my shit.
No.
If you're using the word ramshackle in part of this,
Oh,
yeah.
fantastic places. Yeah, I found
I bet they're nice.
some. In fact, I made Sharon go with me to one last night. I was on my way home and I called her and said,
Just so
"Hey,
there'd be a witness. You want to
'cause
watch
I-
a crime? I gotta go look at a property.
Because I wanted company. Well, and I was just going to peek in the windows because I knew the place was empty anyway. So I went and I peeked in the windows, and she's like, "Nope, can't be here." And I'm like, "What's wrong with it? It's fine. It's got walls. I mean, all this shit is just trash. We can move all that out." Not cute.
Okay.
But yeah, it's gonna be some sort of a ghetto. Whatever. We'll find it.
What area of town are you looking?
So ideally,
Up by you?
ideally, I would like to find some place that's somewhere between me and the bar.
Yeah,
Like that would be perfect world.
sure.
A lot of the really affordable places are
Or not between
not
you
there.
and the...
No, they're west of the bar. They're west of the I-17
Oh,
mostly.
right.
But one last night I went to look at was at like 24th Street and Bell, so kind of close to home, real close to the freeway, not terribly out of the way.
All right.
All the things.
So we'll see. Who knows? I haven't actually called any like real estate brokers yet, so right now I'm just peeking in windows.
That seems safe and smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Listen, Melissa Etheridge told me to do
If
it
you
years
can't
ago.
find the
Here I
crime,
am.
be the crime. You know what I mean?
Nobody's afraid of me pulling up to their vacant property. I'm sorry.
I sent you a couple of pictures. I should probably send you one more.
Well, my neighbor Alan Sledge, who lives down the street here,
Alan.
sending me information about what they can land and what they can't land at airports in California.
Thanks, Alan.
He says, I don't, one SNA. I'm not sure what that even means. It's a designation for something. Can land at 757, but they don't have that equipment landing there. 1AI or 1AL, whichever it is. The guy in the picnic. Oh wait, is he sending me shirts? The guy in the picnic shirt and the guy in the white hat was at my neighborhood meeting. What in the flip is this bullshit he's talking about?
Maybe we should figure that out and report on it
Wait,
later.
I'm guessing. Well, I thought he was giving me information about flight abilities, and now it's a bunch of other random shit.
We're going to get our investigators on that. Doug, what have you been doing?
We've got reporters on the ground.
I have been surviving the very end of the semester. So I
Good
got here
job.
early tonight because tonight's class, that was the horrible class I told you last week. It was
Yes,
the most
I
horrible.
remember that.
It's over with. Tonight they took their final exam.
Oh, good
Yes.
for them.
No, that's a
Congratulations to all of them.
Yes. To
That's
them,
early, too.
Yeah, we are early this year. So tomorrow's the last final. I'm done, and then I just have to grade. I only have like 20 papers left out of like 140 that I've graded. So I have
Oh,
20
very good.
left. I got smart this semester and assigned them a week earlier. So I've been grading all week. So I've been stressed out the entire semester, and now I'm not at the very end when I should be.
Well, very
because
good.
I planned ahead.
Well,
because
that sounds better.
That's just good thinking.
well, in
Feels like how that's
December,
supposed to
it was
work.
such a shitstorm
Yes, that's
of that
how
last
that's
weekend because
supposed
I was like, I will never do that again.
Yeah.
And you can do what you want by assigning them early, so I did. So that's good. And it was nice. Like, had some students where that I don't know that we got that we a couple that we didn't really get along that well, and it was kind of nice today. Like, I have faith. I haven't completely lost faith in the human race. Like,
Oh, that's nice.
It
some
makes one
of
of
them
us.
tried at the end. Like, you give them feedback and they don't do it. That drives me crazy. But some that was like, you've got to improve the right, and they did. Like. They really put that effort in, and so they're going to get some extra credit from me because
Well, there
I
you
like
go.
to see that. Yeah, I'm going to help one girl out because she really is not the greatest writer in the world. And I sent her the writing center, and then like her paper, like then she did another one separate from the writing center. But it's like she really put the effort into it, and you could really see the difference.
Oh, that's good.
So that's nice. So I
Yeah.
don't hate all of them anymore.
Gave you
but-
some hope right there.
it did, and it's nice, but I'm just looking forward to being done by Friday or Saturday. I'll be done, and then I will have the summer off. I'm
Free at
not
last,
teaching
free
this
at
summer.
last.
I know. I'm so happy.
Define what is summer off for you from now until when?
12 weeks. So
Okay, wow. Okay.
yeah. So third week of August, we would return. So I still have to do a little bit of work. I have to do like prep. I have to get everything ready for fall, but I'm only teaching classes I've already taught, which that's never happened yet. I have no new classes, so
Well, very
I'm
good.
so relieved. But I want to really, when I say everything done, I want to have December. I want to have every single possible thing done
Right.
before I walk in
Oh,
that
that's
door.
perfect.
And I'll have all summer to do it, so it'll be relaxing. And and then I just want to take a couple trips and just have the summer off.
Yeah.
Be nice. We can go
Relax.
do things.
Things in public. Things with
Yes,
people.
we can go to restaurants and do things with people.
I would warn the people ahead of time.
Yeah. That seems
Well,
fair.
It
I
does.
think, I think just a
It's a
quick
warning.
heads up.
Quick
Yeah.
heads up, we're on our way.
Dear the
We're-
public.
Doug and Al are on their way.
Yeah. They're back and they're drinking. This time it's personal.
Yeah, right.
Well, we will warn you at Cobalt. We
Yeah.
will give you fair warning. If we
No,
come
just
in.
show up. Fuck those people.
And so Alan's thing was about SNA is the call letters for John Wayne because it's Santa
Oh.
Ana. It's Santa Ana Airport is one of the
Okay.
many things
SNA,
Gotcha.
by
right.
SNA for Santa Ana.
Oh, is he in the?
He's in the YouTube.
Ah, that's right. I'm like, because then he
But
sent me
I
a text
still
and he's a
don't underst-
fanboy.
I don't understand the thing about the picnic,
I'm not sure.
so we'll see about
He'll
that.
get back to us. He'll get
And
back to
Bear
us on that.
says there are no bodies.
In the-
picnic basket, I swear. He was at FAME for the big meeting, and Caitlin arrived with Fendora. It was quite a scene.
Okay, so
Something.
I was at that meeting.
yeah, I said with him. I went to the
wait.
neighborhood meeting last
Oh,
Thursday.
you. He's talking about you in the
Oh.
picnic shirt. So are you talking about Doug in the picnic?
Oh,
Now that I
he-
look at your shirt.
Were you wearing a pic? What
No,
were
he
you
is
wearing?
now.
Oh, he is now.
Oh,
Oh, holy shit! I feel I might not. I need more coffee. Apparently, God damn.
I said
like,
give up
Thank
on
God I'm here and I'm thinking, and I could put all these puzzle pieces
give up
together.
on the coffee and go to liquor.
So I may. Well, Carlton stopped by and brought me more champagne, so I'm fine.
Our
Oh,
unofficial
good.
sponsor.
Yo, absolutely. So
Corbell asked for it, I
so
did.
I had on Wednesday of last week. I completely thought
which is wonderful.
that because in previous times the neighborhood meetings had been on Wednesday nights. So when I got the notice that it was coming, like, oh, boom, marked it down. We're good. I'll go on Wednesday. I had nothing else to do. Like, let's go check and see what's going on. Plus, they were going to give us an update on the building that they're redoing and all this other shit. So I got my happy ass together on Wednesday and poured myself a beverage, and I walked all the way up there. And I get there, and I'm like, funny, there's no cars in this parking lot. And I realized, well, it's tomorrow.
Oh, so close.
So
close.
So the next day,
Dress rehearsal.
I realized I could go
Dry run.
because
Dry run, yeah.
it was going
Hold
to
a
be
casserole dish.
It was going to be done prior to me having to go host for the RuPaul viewing. So I ran into Doug. So I passed like 10 neighbors walking to the meeting as I drove. And I parked knowing that as soon as the meeting was over, I'd have to go to the bar, so I didn't want to have to run back home. So I'm like, when I got there, I said, I don't want to be the asshole neighbor that drives to the neighborhood meeting when it's a block and a half.
I do it all the
And they're
time.
like, but you are.
Yeah.
And I parked right in the front spot too.
Too late.
And as soon as it was done, I drove out and went to work. I mean, it was fine. But it was just like to see if y'all would have seen what I did the day before.
Yeah.
Well, when you did it the way they wanted
On
you
the
to do
wrong
it.
day.
When you were an eco-warrior, not an
Yes.
eco-terrorist.
Yeah.
Funny how just a slight change
Right?
in the story.
24 little hours, and it was all different. I was
But we got the story on the BMO building.
the corner building, one Camelback.
Very interesting
Becoming condos,
story.
right?
Absolutely.
Apartments.
Oh, right, they're apartments. They're
Potato,
not for
potato.
sale.
Well, I thought it was interesting. They're going to be the most expensive apartments in the
I'm
city.
really questioning that.
Oh, after they described that whole atrium thing,
I still
I'm
don't get it.
believing
I
it.
don't know. I'm not buying this yet.
But Phoenix means Phoenix, not Scottsdale, or you know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
but
they
There's-
said it will be more than the Optima range in that Biltmore,
Right,
whatever.
more than
Well, those are
anything that
condos,
is
but-
around the Biltmore is what they were saying. Like, these
Yeah.
are going to be higher in blah 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 whatever. But they are removing all of the concrete that you see
Yeah.
on the face of that building. They're taking all that off. You will see nothing for a while, but just level floors.
That's all. That's all it
Right.
is. It's kind of cool to drive and see it like
No,
hollowed
but-
out. Is
right,
there more,
but-
they're
but-
losing more.
Right, like they took the glass out first. Now all the little concrete sidewalls
cool.
are coming out, and then it's just going to be glass from floor to ceiling, or the whole thing. Top.
Oh,
That's what it
cool.
will be.
Well, good for
But
them.
they're doing all that. I'm very suspect about that because of a couple people who were talking about that building and just really just ramping it up like it's the next coming of Jesus. Because
Right.
some of the people involved in that have their finger on the pulse of rent prices in this area, and I'm just like, don't oversell this.
Yeah.
is it Ben Bethel?
Can they get it?
No,
you
it is
know?
not. Oh God, no, it's
No,
not
but-
Ben Bethel.
I
But that's a good thought.
I'm very funny, I know.
Yeah, but no. But I was like, really, I don't doubt they're going to be lovely. They're going to be nice. They're going to be rentals only. They have. Did they say 5 stories of parking underneath? Is that what
Yeah.
they said?
Uh-huh.
God, that's a lot.
I know.
but that's
deep.
already
Where in
existing.
the fuck are they?
Right.
Yeah, that's already there.
That's-
But
that's
that's
already
like
been there.
good. They were just saying most of you probably don't know that, which I didn't know that, but that's good news.
Yeah, that is good.
Where in the hell did these flies come from? I just like out of nowhere. Well, you know what it's time for? It's time for my electric fly swatter. I'm gonna
It
go-
is. Well,
Ooh.
could we show a couple pictures?
Oh,
We
absolutely.
need a
Seriously,
stinger for that
I
electric
forgot.
fly
I
swatter.
forgot a couple things. So
Yeah,
I've been meaning to in my visits to the Pasadena and my love of the movie Halloween. I forgot that
Oh.
Halloween was filmed in Pasadena, filling in for the imaginary Haddonfield, Illinois.
Okay.
So if you will remember the opening shot of Halloween, this is Mike Myers' house.
Oh.
Is the exterior where she would be in the upper right window and he goes in the front door, that long tracking shot around the house.
Okay.
So that is the actual house, still stands there.
Okay. And then,
And then the next one is and I can't remember it. I have to watch the movie if that's the house where she's babysitting, but I think it's not. I think that's where Annie is babysitting across the street, where they bring Annie's body from the carport into the house through the front door, and she goes and finds all the bodies.
oh.
Not where she's babysitting, but where the first couple murders take place. And then the next picture should be they had to remodel. That's the remodel of, and that's why I think it's the house where she's babysitting. They got so many looky-loos on the street that they remodeled it.
Oh.
So, but in this area of all these like craftsman homes, they just found these couple houses on this block, and it was all filmed like up and down that street because they had no money, so they just like guerrilla shot it like right
And isn't
there.
this the street that you're talking about where they took like a leaf blower and leaves and just blew them on the street to make it look like it
even though
was
the
fall?
trees are all even though the trees are all green,
right.
There's like leaves on the ground, but then they had such a low budget that they had to gather them up and use them again for another
Sure.
scene. And then the last one is a space shuttle.
Right.
I forgot I had that. So there's the Endeavor
And you were talking
in all of
about
its glory.
on the whoops. Where's the? So this, I'm just gonna zoom in.
So there's a person below it, so you can kind of get a little bit of scale.
Right, but below, and if you look underneath the nose, in the picture that you're currently looking at, underneath the nose, directly below, this is a zoom in of those are the plates it's on. It sits
Yeah,
on.
the blue part is the
so it can move.
so it can move in case of an earthquake.
Got it.
That'll keep it from.
Shimmy and
Isn't that
shake.
cool?
Too
I
much
thought it was
shimmy
really
and
cool.
shake. Starting to shimmy, starting to shake. Or whatever. Fuck it.
We'll have to talk later. I'm going to be going to Pasadena for the afternoon on the Friday that I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about going to either a museum or a garden or something if you have suggestions.
Oh
for
yeah.
Pasadena.
Ooh, we're going to do a travel segment now. This will be exciting for all
I'll
of
say,
us.
or you could just walk up and down Colorado because there's lovely,
No,
there's all kinds of lovely shopping in there.
I'll be done at 2 and I'll be in Duarte. So it's probably 15 minutes to get to
Yeah.
Pasadena. And then I'm going to do whatever I need to do until she's done with that thing she's doing, which is
Oh,
probably
it-
dinner.
It's
So
beautiful.
I'll have like 4
outdoors-
hours,
yeah,
probably
beautiful
5
outdoor
hours.
shopping all through.
To just hang out
that
there.
area. Yeah, there's all kinds of shops. And
I mean, I
stuff.
didn't want to just go to a bar because
Yeah.
I feel like I do that all the time. So I wanted to try to do something that I was redeeming of
Yeah, and I mean,
entertaining.
I'm trying to think.
But
We just kind of like find all kinds of shit to do.
okay, I'll ask her too. She'll
Yeah.
probably know.
The City
job,
Hall
good
was
job.
lovely. The Rose Bowl is
Mm-hmm.
fun. There's all kinds of stuff there.
So much stuff out there to do.
I know.
Just also congested, though. That's what gets me.
Now,
Yeah.
Pasadena's not.
It won't be bad.
No.
Which Ricardo says every time he's there. Ricardo is from there. Mm-hmm. And he says
Oh,
that,
the freeway in and out, but once you get off the freeway into
he says
Pasadena,
there's no parking anywhere.
oh, that's not true at all.
Wherever the hell he is, it's like it's just always a congestion and a shit show. And he's like, it just gets worse and worse every year.
No, Pasadena's really kind of it's like a sleepy little bedroom town. It's very lovely. And then Altadena's up the mountain.
Okay.
I mean,
you're saying about Alta.
it's a downtown. I mean, it's
Right.
it doesn't give me any agita to be in Pasadena at all. The minute you get on a freeway, I'm out. Then it's all congested. But yeah, it's a little sleepy neighborhood by Duarte and Glendale, and
Alan just sent me a text. Doug, you'll appreciate this.
Mm-hmm.
He sent me a text about that building. He says, Bank of Montreal building, it'll be bankrupt in 6 months. So we're going to look at that for another 2
Yeah,
years. Just sitting
right.
with,
Just sitting there
flat.
with a hole in it.
That's funny shit.
Could happen.
Has anybody here ever heard of Rachel Carson?
Yes.
that sounds so familiar. Rachel Carson.
I wouldn't be surprised if you would know. I just was curious if
have
you
I
all had
met
known.
her? I don't know.
No.
gonna
The
Google
silent,
it.
You
the
know, 'cause
Silent Spring.
She yes, she passed away long
Groundbreaking
before
book.
any of us ever came along. But one of the things that I did this past week was I watched another documentary.
Yay.
It's amazing. This woman wrote a book about living in the sea with sea life, whatever. She got into a bunch of like government documents about how they did whatever research had been going on in the oceans and the seas, and she was fascinated by all that, and so on and so forth. And then when DDT came out, the chemicals, then everybody just they never did any testing. Oh, it kills mosquitoes. Okay, well then that must be all
It's
it
great.
ever kills. So they sprayed it on everything known to man,
Right.
coast to coast.
And it does a great job on mosquitoes.
And nobody ever thought about, well, what
Sure
about
does.
the runoff? What about everything that eats mosquitoes? What about so that was her thing about that. So she's the first person to have raised awareness and wrote the book Silent Spring about
She's the godmother of the
of
environmental.
environmental.
movement.
It was
Yeah.
very interesting to see that and how she went to.
My mother had the book in the
Oh, did she?
70s. Yeah.
Very interesting. I just thought it was
Yeah,
that
she's
poor woman.
amazing.
She went through a lot, like with her cancer that she even had. That I don't know that it was related or not, but she had a series of lumps and tumors within her own body over the years. Never married, wound up adopting is that a sister's son? I believe that's how that worked out. But anyway,
Like
just
a sister son. What the fuck kind of?
her sister. I believe it was her sister that passed away, and
I
she
was thinking
had,
you were saying like sister wife. I wasn't sure.
Oh
where you
no
were
no
going
no
with
no
that.
no! But anyway, if
And she was also a sister wife,
Right,
which is
that's
an
like-
interesting part of her story.
But it was just a very interesting thing about what she researched and went through and brought to the
Yes.
congressional testimony,
Absolutely.
calling on the
Yes.
DuPont
To
and Dow
their
Chemicals,
face.
being like,
Yeah.
you lied about all of this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, not in those words specifically, but she called them out very much so, and to the point where, of course, all the chemical companies then scramble and try to discredit her book and all the findings.
Right.
But Kennedy was on board with her, and because of all of her writings on what she did, again, started the division, I guess, that became the EPA, and it just started monitoring and checking all this stuff that was before that just completely untethered. They could do whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yep.
And then wonder, why don't trees grow here?
Yeah.
Yeah, why does anything? Why are all the fish dying? Well, there was another thing that
Why does
all
my
of the
fish have 7 heads?
they started spraying like chemicals in the south somewhere. They were doing, I don't know what was being grown. I forgot what it was. But then subsequently, like within months, like there was a rainstorm, and then all of a sudden all the fish died in the lakes, and the fishermen are like, what happened here?
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, we're sorry. We killed mosquitoes, but we didn't realize
We are ruining planet Earth.
once it ran off of the trees and into the
Right.
ground, into the groundwater. Yeah, sorry about it.
And then wasn't it something like the when they got rid of DDT is when bed bugs came back?
Oh,
Like
that-
DDT was what was keeping bed bugs at bay.
Yeah. So
Oh,
paid
that
a
I don't
different
know.
price.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Something that we used that was bad for everything else was like
good for that.
good for bed bugs.
Well, I'm sure.
So
some-
so what was it? The documentary was called what?
I think it's called Silent Spring,
Oh, okay.
and I don't know what caused me, because it was like some science or something documentary. It was in that category, and then once I saw that it was the woman who was like the grandmother or whatever they called her of environmentalism, I just watched it. It was very interesting, and it talked about the pesticides. And what was funny is I remember back, and I don't know if it was out here or where any of you guys grew up. I remember in the summertime, the fog truck drive through the neighborhood with the big
the DDT fog
well,
truck?
I don't know if it was a
No, I think it was.
in 1980. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
a DTT truck. I doubt seriously it was, but whatever they were fumigating.
I don't at all doubt that it was a
No, I
DDT
kind of think that it might have been.
I don't know that it.
because DDT I think stays around
Yeah.
a lot longer than we think.
I
Because
think
bed
so,
bugs are
too.
just like in the last 20 years.
Well, I don't know. Again, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm saying based on her documentation,
Right.
I think they curbed that in the 60s a little bit more. I don't know what the fuck they were blowing out of the back of this truck, but I do remember a fog truck coming through the neighborhood in the summer to eradicate whatever insects they were working on. But anyway, just very interesting. Another wonderful
Yeah.
documentary, say a couple hours. It was her whole life and how the book published. Oh, and the New Yorker was instrumental in it, because the guy, whoever was the publisher or the editor of the New Yorker, was on board with her, and he published excerpts from her writings. And as soon as he did, that
wow.
created a bigger buzz, and her book just went
Crazy.
selling on the New York bestseller list back in the day. So, and apparently she was a very eloquent writer, regardless of the topic. She was very,
Right.
very good at telling an elaborate story. But anyway, just another
Nice.
interesting little documentary that I watched, because I know everybody else watched a lot of other stuff that isn't real this past week on
okay.
on the TVs.
Not
You
really
can
as
watch all of
entertaining
it at
too.
the same time.
I can't be possibly bothered with all that.
You can have two thoughts
I
in your
know.
head at the same time.
You can, Al.
Country and
I'm
Western.
having them right now.
All right, there's that. What else do you want to talk about before we go and talk about headline shit? Or do we? Or
That's it.
that's it. I'm not even remotely ready for this.
That's okay. Neither are we.
No, this whole, again, not remotely ready.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything else that I watched of any relevance. Oh, Ed Asner's wife died. I know that.
It's so sad. for
Totally
Ed.
random thing that I just remember seeing on his his Twitter feed.
Poor Ed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She'd battled cancer for a very long time, I guess.
So sad.
You don't even care.
They don't care.
Don't care at all.
Not sure if I know her.
Well, I don't think you did. What do you?
I'm gonna break a light bulb if I do
What is
this.
she doing with that? Oh,
Did I-
it worked!
Ah!
It worked! Kill
Did you
it!
kill it?
Yes.
My,
No, I think he's still moving.
my selfie stick.
No,
No,
it's
you
part of my-
killed it.
No,
Cat.
now.
Cat, you're good at killing
Okay.
things.
All right, go to something else.
Yeah,
Why are we
man.
lingering? Do we need more coffee?
I'll get
He had
some
me
of
a
it.
tissue. My selfie stick just caught a fly. That was fantastic.
That was.
Like
I'm
fucking
impressed
Mr.
by your
Miyagi
mad
up in this
skills.
bitch.
That was amazing.
Do not
Thank you.
underestimate a lesbian, ladies and gentlemen. She can kill a fly.
I'd have taken care of the carcass. I'm sorry. Thank you.
No, it's okay. I'm on lesbian cleanup. My week.
What is that? Oh, whoa.
I'm glad you guys take turns. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's a lot for one man.
It's a lot. Oh, fuck it. Let's see what we can do here. It's our headline seg. We'll do the fly-in, see what goes on with that. if
Good
that
land,
works.
motherfucker.
Now, let's see what we got. Oh, we've got an update on the Easter Bunny Florida man story from last week.
Get off the cross. We need the wood.
How much is your porn collection worth?
The hat's nice.
How about Hitler Heights?
I'd have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling police.
And I don't know. I have to still look for something.
All right.
Fuck balloons.
Did you
And-
say fuck balloons?
And Science 1, Religion 0. These stories,
Yay.
exciting stories, coming to you in just moments here on the Q Talk Americana. Oh, wait, where's the thingy I want to do? We'll do this, and we'll do... Sure, we'll do that. There we go. Whoop, wrong one.
You're listening to Q Talk America.
Oh, there we go. It's the rejoinder. It happened. I was able to put that little break together without screwing it up too badly. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's the show. It's a Tuesday night. We're live in Studio C in downtown, or excuse me, Central Phoenix, Arizona. It's a lovely Tuesday evening. I've got Kat Carlson, Doug Wilkie, and Al Perkins rounding out our cast. Marnie Ryer is on assignment. I just like saying that.
I love that.
She's very busy. She was stressing out over...
She's reporting out from the field.
Yes. She was stressing out with a project she had to finish up for work, and I'm like, don't stress. At that point, I didn't think we were going to do a show, but here we are. We're doing a show. Look
Here
at
it
us.
is.
You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Well, coming up in this hour, we're going to talk about some headline stuff. Later on, it'll be entertainment things, and then Kat Carlson's Wheel of the Week.
Yay.
Good times. Things
Very
happening.
excited. We're very excited.
Here we go. Well, the rabbit, it had a rap sheet. The news on Easter was full of videos of a man in a bunny costume involved in a brawl in Orlando, Florida, who claimed innocence by saying he was defending a woman who had been spit on. He says, quote, "I'm the type of person who avoids fights by any means necessary. But in that situation, I would fight any day for her." Well, that was Antoine McDonald, a 20-year-old man who told the media of his bravery in breaking up this brawl. But
Such valor.
But the Tampa Bay Times reports that McDonald seems to have a rap sheet that, well, his little his chivalrous image of breaking up a fight a little tarnished now. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office said McDonald is wanted in New Jersey in connection with a vehicle burglary that was, and it was a person of interest in a carjacking and 2 armed robberies in Florida.
Everything's legal in New Jersey.
Yeah.
The Dover, Delaware report arresting McDonald for 2 armed robberies there back in 2017. No arrests were made in the Orlando incident. So he's still on the run. They haven't apparently arrested him yet. See, you don't do anything good for people. That's what you'll just get in trouble. That's it.
That's the lesson you got? Mm-hmm.
It's the message he was looking for.
Do
I
not
think.
step in and help. You will. Something bad will happen to you.
Somebody's
Well,
gonna investigate.
I found a
you.
second story.
Speaking of helping people and being on the run, A.C. Burleson said he was saved as a Christian some years ago. And along with that came a calling to carry Christ's cross. Now, he took that literally and figuratively.
No.
Sure.
Like you do.
The Andrews, South Carolina 34-year-old left his home state in March to embark on a journey to the Grand Canyon, all while bearing a large cross over his shoulder.
That's what
right.
donkeys are for. You can hire those.
This motherfucker is going to drag a cross
Across.
the country.
my God.
This motherfucker.
This dumbass.
He's walking along US 72,
Dear God.
a stretch that recently included Colbert County. He's hoping it serves as a reminder to every passing motorist about the sacrifice that Jesus made. Anything to get God's word out.
Did Jesus walk down a highway?
I don't know. Forrest
Oh.
Gump did. Maybe Jesus did too.
Well,
Who fucking knows?
They've paved it.
that'd
He
be
said he
New
built the
Testament.
cross after feeling a call from Jesus to carry it. Did he call you collect? Was that on your cell?
Did he give you like
Did
blueprints?
he FaceTime you?
How did
What
you know how to
happened
make
here?
the cross?
What'd you feed the lions?
He says, when I got saved, God called me.
Gee, what- Jesus called, Peggy answered.
I got the voicemail. It said, be a walking memorial for him. He says, I've never done a long distance like this before. Most of the time, it was just town to town.
Oh.
Wait, he's done this before?
Well, isn't that what those passion plays are about? Don't they wander about with a cross?
I don't know.
I know Easter
This is the
alludes.
first
I
time-
don't understand.
This is
Easter.
the first
It
I've ever
eludes me.
seen of anything like this. I've made a lot of jokes about shit like this,
And now you
but
finally met
and now
one.
it's really happening.
No, it's really happening.
It is. He generally
got
travels
real.
12 to 14 miles a day, and continues to be moved by the responses he receives. One guy, he says, turned his car around and immediately started trembling and tearing up when he approached me. Maybe because you're a crazy guy dragging a cross across the
that
states.
was fear you were seeing.
Once, he says, a woman at red light hollered at me. She pulled over and cried.
Hollered.
I was one block
Hollered.
away from killing myself. She said, this is stopping me. Well, good. Look at that.
Okay.
Good for you. All right.
He helped somebody. There you go. Check that off your list.
Yeah. He says he always wanted to see the Grand Canyon and wonders how he will react when he arrives there. I hope he stays on the ledge because
Yeah.
they're having a problem with
Yeah,
that.
People
Exactly.
falling into the Grand Canyon
Yeah.
and
A
dying.
lot.
That'll be only if he
We're
tries to
like
get a
11
selfie
for the
of
year, aren't
himself
we?
with the cross.
Yeah.
On the,
I want to see him just like fling the cross into the Grand Canyon.
Oh, on
As long as he
fire!
saves himself.
Fuck this shit.
Set it on
Not
fire.
Not on fire. It's still a high fire risk.
Yeah, no.
Don't give him ideas.
Set the whole
Let's see.
state on
Let's see
fire.
how this sounds. Hang on.
Jesus called, Peggy answered. Ow.
What is it from?
Sordid lives.
oh my God!
Sordid
We need to
lives.
watch that movie.
Was that
again.
steak tender? The steak you had not Peggy died?
Was that steak tender?
You shouldn't leave your legs in the middle of the floor for her to trip on.
You need your legs.
legs.
Oh my God. Sordid lives.
Well, now we have a story to follow in the weeks and months to come.
That's
We
right.
do.
Yeah.
Cross burning
This
at the.
Jesus
at the
fucker.
He's
He's
got
He
to have a
makes it
Facebook page.
all the way.
I'm sure.
Oh my God, you're right. He probably does.
Was it JesusAcrossAmerica.com? DraggingThisFuckingCross.com?
Jeffrey Smith is joining us from the YouTube.
My tired ass is dragging this fucking cross.
Got nothing better to do.com.
At Instagram.
Wait, we need to work the feeling cute meme in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Feeling cute, dragging across.
Might drag across
Might
the
throw it
country.
in the Grand Canyon. I don't
Felt
know.
the calling might drag across America.
I don't know.
I don't know.
IDK.
Okay.
WWJD.
Yeah.
What would
IDK.
Jesus do IDK?
On the day he was feeling cute.
I know.
Oh no, that one. I don't know if we
The one that was it. You Cat sent it. That
Al
No,
was
me.
Still Al.
that is the most amazing thing. I could
The
never
Romans.
have
Oh,
posted.
might get nailed by a
online.
Roman later.
Yeah. Just the whole
Oh my God.
feeling cute.
Feeling cute.
I don't think he's gonna be feeling cute after he drags that shit 3,000 miles.
I hope there's a
He's gonna
wheel.
get a shoe sponsor.
I hope
mean,
there's a
shouldn't there be a
wheel or
rule?
something on the end of that cross, because otherwise it's just gonna, as he drags it, it's just gonna
Well, he's gonna start
file
a fire.
down.
Yeah, no, he's gonna start a
Which
fire.
you could. There's
Well,
many things that could happen to this.
I'm no
very
Bible
dangerous.
expert, but should there be yeah, I know that's comes a huge surprise to all 4 of our listeners. But
It turns out I know more about Easter than the Catholic that lives in my house. So
I'm
there's
without.
that.
I
Yeah.
don't understand Easter. But
when 2 rabbits love
I
each
think
other.
there should be a
It's
rule.
very, very much.
There's some chocolate.
Something
in-
rises.
Yeah. But not the bread, allegedly.
Shouldn't
Anyway.
there be a rule that you can't drag the cross farther than Jesus did? Like, how far did he?
Yeah, nobody
take
likes
it?
to show off.
Right?
Exactly what
I mean,
was
he had to
gonna
carry
say.
the cross, but like how
So,
how far?
interestingly enough,
Come on,
Leviticus
Jesus.
doesn't say anything about dragging your cross. It's really any man's choice.
He carried it.
How about dragging your ass?
Well, but yeah,
What do you mean, how far though? Like, was it miles or?
but funny enough, Leviticus doesn't say anything about how far you should or shouldn't drag your cross.
Oh, I see. What
Oh,
you're
is that where
saying.
they're pulling this from?
Couple of problems.
Well, they pulled the cross from over here.
Oh, my.
Over there.
One, Leviticus is the chapter with all of the rules that's way before Jesus.
Right.
So
right.
there is no Jesus in that because
Right.
the Jews actually believe in that too.
Yeah,
Jesus
that's
comes
Old
later,
Testament,
so
right?
It's a real bad Bible
That's
joke.
the no lobster one that I'm
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
The shellfish and the pigskin and
The
the
mixing of-
stoning your daughter, like all of that shit is in Leviticus.
The mixing of fabrics.
Crazy people. And now they're dragging crosses across the fucking country.
Exactly.
Oh, you see them coming.
No. That
Oh,
joke
yeah.
didn't work
We
very
just
well.
put a red light on the
Doug, have a
background.
story.
They should have a
Okay.
little flag. They just,
Oh shit! My computer just flipped.
they just have a little
freaked out.
flag
Okay.
on their cross.
So here's a good one, Al, for you.
Just for you, Al.
Man sues parents for destroying his $29,000 porn collection.
Oh no, didn't we do that?
Oh, you did that already?
I don't know.
Maybe it's
Do
happened
it
more than
again.
once. Maybe it's
Yeah.
happened more than once.
Should I do it live?
Do it live. Do it again.
Did you already do this one?
I feels familiar
I
because we
feel like-
sided with him.
I have
Yes.
another one.
Yeah.
Didn't he move out and they wanted the room for something else?
Yeah. and
Oh,
then
no,
he's-
no. Wasn't that the parents that were suing their kid to evict him?
Yeah, that was the.
Oh,
Yeah, this
Oh.
is this,
we did that one too.
This the parents have trashed the porn. It sounds like.
Yeah, they
which
did.
should be a crime.
They said they
That
did,
is in Leviticus.
They would have done it if they had found a kilo of crack cocaine as well. All very dramatic. An Indiana man
Cocaine
is
and porn do very
suing
different
his-
things.
exactly. His parents for a ballsy act. There's more. Don't worry, there's more. Destroying his very valuable porn collection. The man who is being identified only as Charlie claims the porn stash has an estimated value of $28,940
That seems really specific.
and includes more. Well, because it
They
gets the
keep
log. of them.
receipts for every one of them.
But here's what it includes, Al. 400 VHS tapes, more than 1,600 DVDs, 160 plus CDs, and 70 sex toys, according to the
That is,
Detroit.
first of all, that porn
Free
collection is
press.
way overvalued because nobody's paying more than 50 cents a piece for those fucking VHSs. I don't care who's
That's-
in
And
it.
that's
the
valid.
gently used
Right?
toys. That's a one owner only.
Right, nobody's paying for those either.
I mean, dishwashers do some
Charlie
good.
is-
but
We're down to about $600 worth of porn.
Charlie is seeking $86,822, though, which includes the value of the missing items and the amount it would cost to replace them. Some of the films worthy of inclusion include Frisky Business and Big Bad Grannies. According Things came to a head this week after Charlie filed a lawsuit against his parents. According to court documents, he moved to his parents' home in Grand Haven, Michigan, while going through a divorce. Although Charlie stayed with his parents for about 10 months, he was asked to leave in August 2017 after what was termed a domestic situation. Don't know what that is.
Yeah,
A
they caught
few
him
months
watching porn.
Yeah,
and there was a situation.
With 70 different toys at the same time.
months. Later, the parents traveled to Indiana to drop off their son's possessions, but didn't include his massive porn collection. That aroused Charlie to file aroused.
Wait, really?
aroused.
They put that word in
They
that
did. They're working hard. There's more.
Oh, they're working hard.
They're working hard here.
God.
That aroused Charlie to file a police report about the trash porn collection with the Ottawa County Sheriff's Department. But the prosecutor's office declined to file charges against his parents. A month after filing the report, Charlie sent an email to his dad explaining the situation. If you had a problem with my belongings, you should have stated that at the time and I would have gone elsewhere. Instead, you chose to keep quiet and behave vindictively. According to the lawsuit, the father responding by saying he was doing his son a favor. Believe it or not, one reason why I destroyed your porn was for your own mental and emotional health. I would have done the same if I'd found a kilo of crack cocaine. Someday I hope you'll understand.
First of all, you've got way bigger problems if your kid has a kilo of cocaine.
Okay, yeah.
So
by destroying
There are
that,
sleepy
How
people
is
in
this-
China that could
how-
have used that kilo of
Yeah.
crack cocaine.
and I'm with Kat on the overvalued here.
that porn is way overvalued.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What you don't realize in this story is that man is now carrying a cross across
No,
the country.
he's not. He is not. He is not.
Jesus called and said, "I'll give you back your porn if you take
Yeah.
this cross to
Yeah.
Arizona."
You get it to Arizona. If you could get this to the Grand Canyon for me.
Light
Just
it
don't
on
knock off
fire.
any old ladies on that ledge
Oh my god.
with your fucking cross.
They're not old ladies, though. They're like agile Asians that keep falling over backwards.
Well, there was. I thought.
It wasn't
I saw,
like
No, it's the
5 and-
selfie thing. That's
yeah,
what's,
isn't it like
what's
5 in
driving
less than a
this.
month?
no,
It's been a
And
lot.
you feel
Yeah.
like it doesn't need to be said, but it clearly it does.
it does.
It
Because when
does.
we were just there, like they were like, okay, and there's no rails in parts of it,
It's a
and they're
hole.
like, please don't be stupid when
Yeah.
taking a selfie. And I'm like, or you could ask any one of us to take a photo of you
That's
Right.
what I don't
with that
under-
same
exact-
backdrop. Like there's
exactly.
30 of us on this trip. Like,
Sure.
We went
happily
2 or
do
3
it.
years ago with the kids, and I'm definitely afraid of heights. So you're not getting
me too.
Like it's from me to the street to
Yeah.
the edge of that rim, and I'm like, "Yep, beautiful. I
Yeah,
can see
see it all.
And I had a death grip on my youngest. Like, nope, he's staying with me. Sharon, you and the old one can go do whatever the fuck you people, because they're over there at the edge. They're like peeking over. I'm like, this one's right here with me.
Nope.
Yeah. You
He's
can
not
see it on
going
TV.
anywhere.
Right.
No.
I'll get you drone footage.
I'll buy
You
the
can-
book. I'll
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
buy
buy
the
the
big
book.
fucking poster. I did, and I bought a
Right.
bunch of books at the Grand Canyon. They're fucking fascinating.
Oh,
But yeah, I don't understand any of that.
But
Like,
you realize the Earth is only 6,000 years old.
I don't care. It's making
Flat.
it's making me.
Damn it, flat.
Oh, that's what happens to all the DEET. It just kind of falls off the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, the DDT just washes off
Washed
the
away.
edge. Yeah.
Apparently, it caused a lot of erosion.
Yeah, no, it's like giving me anxiety thinking about it. I'm like, nope,
Wow.
nope. I'm good. Like I can see
Yeah.
it from here. I do not need to be up at the edge of
Yeah.
anything
no,
ever.
me either.
I agree.
Have you been to the Space Needle in Seattle?
You know, I've never been to the Space Needle, and
So-
I've been at a couple of the tall lookouts. Like we went up in the Sears Tower. I've
don't
been
really-
up in the
I
I've
should
been up
say-
in the St. Louis Arch.
I don't really have
As
like
a-
a
yeah.
fear of heights. I don't like it, and because
Yeah.
Arizona boy, low, I've never been up high, so it like gives me vertigo, and I guess there's some fear. Like I don't like at the top of buildings, like looking out. I'm like,
Those
yeah.
are called flashbacks.
So we went
Doug,
to Flash. Thank you.
the 80s.
But when we went to this, the what is it, Space Needle? What is the Seattle thing?
Yeah.
And it is really beautiful when you get up there. But we
Sure.
walked out on the ledge, and I was fine. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm cool. And then I looked down, and I got that vertigo. Like I started to spin. And it's so funny. The people that work there, they're like, you need to go
Yeah.
sit
Inside.
down."
We know
Yeah.
we know that one.
We've seen
another
that one.
stupid tourist, you know.
Oh, first time.
Yeah,
First time.
right, right. So I got to know the gift shop girl because I just sat, and she's like, you, and she gave me some water. She's like, you just need to sit here, and
Just
she's
sit here
like,
for a
don't
minute, right.
look. And she said it's funny. What she said, she goes, just look at it from
Look
here.
out, yeah.
She goes, just look out. It's beautiful. Don't look. No more
Yeah.
looking down.
And
And-
I almost can't look straight down. And if I
Yeah.
do go to those lookouts, like I'm
Yeah.
putting a brave face on it, but I'm white knuckling the
Oh,
shit out
Isn't
of
yeah.
it.
this
Like,
isn't the Sears one that has the window that comes
No.
down so you really
Yes.
can like look straight down?
I did it in like the '90s, so I don't know if that was
And
there.
then
I don't
the
remember.
building in LA
because my
has
mother
the
has the same
slide.
affliction, so I'm sure she had a
Oh,
death
the
grip
U
on
road.
us.
Yeah, the building in the U.S. Bank in L.A. has the slide from the 71st to the 70th floor, and it's glass.
Nope.
So you actually are like on a magic carpet.
Oh yeah,
Flying
and there's,
over LA,
There's
that's
like the
cool.
one.
No,
There's
thanks.
like the one ride in Vegas that hangs you over the side of the building that
Oh.
I just can't deal
I will
with.
do any ride in the
That's
world.
off the stratosphere,
but
if I'm not
that,
mistaken.
that because I've done the slingshot off the top where they put the 3 Gs up your ass and fling you up to 110 stories,
don't wanna
whatever
do that either.
business is. That was cool. That's a one and done. The roller
Yeah.
coaster's super boring. The roller coaster on
the
the
New
top,
York.
No, the roller coaster on the top of the stratosphere.
Oh, okay.
Is really boring. Like
No.
you never really feel like you're up high. But I just saw that arm thing go once, and I'm like, that is the hubris of man. Like that's just
It's
asking
just
to
death
die.
waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Right. I saw that in a movie one
Yeah.
time, and it didn't go well.
It
It
doesn't
didn't go
end
well.
well.
A lot of nope.
Yes, Jeffrey's saying there is a glass edge window in Sears now. Yeah, because I remember that was.
I don't know if that was always there though.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But I remember looking and being like, huh, okay, that's a thing. Like, 'cause it's
Yeah.
you're just looking straight down.
And like that glass bottom walk at the Grand Canyon. Nope, not doing that either.
I know we missed that. We were gonna do that this last trip, but we we didn't realize how far west it was.
It's
And
pretty
we-
far, yeah.
Yeah, we were already too far across the state to go back that far to it.
Yeah.
It's in the western side of the South Rim. So
Kat, would you like to explain this just in case?
Well, I got bored for a minute, so I decided to post on Facebook while I was here. And I captioned it, "Can you guess which flavors we don't like?"
I thought they all tasted
pretty.
the same, but
They don't. They sure don't.
they sure don't.
okay.
Yeah, because
No,
that
you can taste green.
that really pretty
that-
green there, the paler
That-
seafoam green,
Those are gummy
one?
bears.
they're filthy.
For those of you who want to know.
Those aren't too bad. These motherfuckers.
Oh, see, I
are
don't mind
awful.
the I don't mind the dark green ones. It's those
Yeah,
sea mist
these
ones. that
lime
betrayed
jello,
me.
they're just missing the fucking carrots. Those are awful.
Lime motherfucking jello.
I'm from Utah.
So, oh my goodness. Let me entertain
Ding you.
So,
I'm gonna get more coffee while you're doing your thingy.
Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Cape Girardeau. Yes.
Girardeau. Okay.
Cape
Girardeau.
Girardeau.
Girardeau. I like Girardeau.
Yeah, that sounds good too, but I know where Cape Girardeau
The
is.
European
Same
pronunciation.
Same thing. Missouri. It is. Missouri County trying to recruit new firefighters is getting real with its sales pitch, saying in signs posted outside its station the job offers hard labor, odd hours, low pay, and cool helmets.
Hey.
Local TV station reports that the Scott County Rural Fire Protection District's chief, Jeremy, let's say Pribben, because I don't know what that says most advertisements are kind of boring. He says that's why they wanted to add some humor to it. Try to catch people's attention by saying low pay.
Low pay. That's the one that's really gonna.
The fire district
Whip 'em
posted a
in.
picture of the help wanted message on its Facebook page this week. His name is Perian. Said that they are short about 15 firefighters. Good to know.
Not moving to that
Yeah,
county.
exactly. Let's get an extra fire alarm, smoke alarm. The
Right.
fire department's missing about 15 staff. And rarely have a full staff. The recruitment ad comes amid a shortage of volunteer firefighters in the heartland. Well, that's just a very depressing story about fires that are about to burn down the day they decide how to pronounce it.
Gonna learn.
Girardeau, yeah,
Gonna
Girardeau.
lose the barn.
Girardeau? Is that how you're saying it?
Cape Girardeau.
Girardeau, yeah. I'll buy that.
Traditional pronunciation.
So, low pay, cool hat.
Sign me up.
You don't have a lot of coworkers, so there's not a lot of people that are going to annoy
Right.
you.
Not a lot of competition. Fast track to
Yeah, you can be
advancement.
first at every fire.
There's that.
Probably second.
The person that started it
Probably
will be there first.
Right. The arsonist. is
The
probably
arsonist
there
won.
first.
Clearly won the race.
Unless it was a time delay.
Wow, we really are good at crime solving. We solved that one. Don't even know what the crime is.
Do you happen to know what your neighborhood's name is?
Bonnie Lee.
Serrano Park.
Serrano Park.
Pearson Place.
No. Actually, you're not. The neighborhood is
Oh.
called Del Monte. That is the
Oh,
area.
we're Del
where-
Monte.
That's it. Pearson Place
Oh,
is the
makes me
historic
want
district, but like it's
Oh.
like there is a
what's our neighborhood? Is Del Monte.
Del Monte Park. I believe it's Del Monte Park is actually where we
Does it
are.
used to be a racetrack?
No. So if you didn't know,
Horses or dogs?
oftentimes the area in which you live is named something different than what your neighborhood is actually called.
Okay.
Well, to that point, residents of a particular neighborhood in the Denver suburb of Cherry Hills Village may not have ever known the name of their subdivision until now. It didn't appear on the signs, but could be found in the fine print of real estate documents. Nonetheless, the Cherry Hills Village City Council voted unanimously on the 16th of April to change the neighborhood's name from its historic name of Swastika Acres
Hey.
to Old Cherry Hills. Councilman Dan Sheldon explained that the name came from the Denver Land Swastika Company, which divided the land into plots in the early 20th century, long before Nazis appropriated the symbol to what they used it for. There was nothing wrong with the name at the time, he says.
Oh, because it's a Hindu
Interesting.
good luck charm or something like that, right?
That I don't know. It didn't have it in this little brief story that I snagged in my not being prepared for today's show. But I'm like, hey, that would be sucky. You look through the deed on your house. Well, where do you live? Well, I live in the Swastika Acres area.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Wow.
But yeah, I have no idea what that symbol, or why they even adopted it. What was the? I'm sure we're going to get a history lesson here somehow, some way.
Wikipedia to the
Hindu
rescue.
thing.
Yes.
It was a Hindu
Oh, was it?
religious symbol,
I believe so.
but they
think so.
turned it like.
Oh, was
went
it
like
s-
that? I think. They did
So it was
something.
used as a symbol of divinity and spirituality in Indian religions. In the Western world, it was a symbol of auspiciousness and good luck until the 30s, when it became a feature of Nazi symbolism and an emblem of the Aryan identity. So yeah, it was good luck until the Nazis tried to get some
And it
luck.
wasn't good luck.
Yeah.
Then it was real
great.
bad
Not
luck
so
for
great.
a
Not
lot
so
of people.
lucky, eh, Pierre?
It's warm in here.
You know who didn't think it was lucky? Jews.
Jews.
There
And jokes
is
are
a
just
part of
Like
his
rocks today.
History of the World Part 1, Mel
Oh, the Mel Brooks. Yeah.
And I can't remember if he's got somebody on the rack for the Inquisition or what part of the story, but not so lucky, eh, Pierre? It could be in the French Revolution. Just fucked up.
I haven't seen that. I had to watch it again. That's
That is a
funny
funny,
show.
funny
good.
movie.
Very funny. Yes, ma'am. Cat Carlson.
Oh God, it's my
your
turn. I was
Oh,
looking
God.
up. I was looking up history of the world. I was
Well,
trying
you
to
can
find
do
the
that.
book.
You can do that too.
I could do other stuff. You know who's upset
Many people.
besides the Jews? Ireland.
Oh,
Ireland is
They're
in
upset.
an uproar after a picture of the worst pint of Guinness ever
Oh.
was shared to Twitter.
Wow.
Well, stand by. I'm
no.
gonna find that picture.
Goodness.
Wow.
Many took to Twitter to apologize on behalf of the nation after a woman who was served an absolutely shocking pint of Guinness at the Dublin airport of all places.
Oh.
I know, shameful.
Now you'd think you'd be
Shameful. The woman was left unimpressed after receiving the disgraceful-looking pint, and who could blame her with what looks like almost 2 inches of foam at the top? Goodness gracious. Kelly J., the unfortunate recipient, took to Twitter to air her disgust. She said, quote, Dublin Airport, sort it out. I was offended that they even gave it to me. That's right. Botched pints of Guinness are usually seen abroad.
Usually have to travel.
Wow.
Usually-
So this is the
That's the
thing-
botch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No.
can't even look at it.
So
No.
this one has caused quite a stir on the Emerald Isle.
I bet.
Peter Golden was so shocked by the criminal account of head on the pint that he apologized on behalf of the whole city. He said, "Oh my God, Kelly, I apologize on behalf of Dublin!" Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point!
Wow.
Wow.
Another man took things even further when he suggested that the pourer of said pint should get the book. That's right. He said, "I would sack the person who served this. What a disgrace! As a former professional bartender, there is no way we would send a pint out to a customer like that." It remains unclear whether the guilty barman has been found and or reprimanded.
Was the hashtag too much head? Was that what they used? Oh, sure.
I should hope not.
All right. I'll just ask them.
I
So
don't think that would.
we
think
were
that would
taught
go
as
very well.
children how to pour a beer correctly to
45
present
degrees.
it to my father so
Sure.
that it came with
So we're raised
no
right.
head. Exactly, raised correct.
Well,
Was it raised by wolves?
From the moment you got out of the crib, you were like, "Can you pour a cocktail?" And you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I got this. So I have a friend that whenever we go for
Thank
we
you.
go for food or drink, and he gets his beer and he pours it, and he pours so that all the bubbles disperse. Because
Oh, sure. Because there's science to that too. There's an actual purpose.
yeah,
Some people will pour a beer very roughly so that it releases more of the CO2 so that it doesn't get trapped in your digestive system. Because then it creates all kinds of discomfort and gas and things.
and that is exactly his point. So he knows when he pours the beer.
Literally
that
science, yeah.
He's like, I know this kills. I'm like, I can't even look at it. Like, you have to drink from that because I can't even look at that glass of beer.
Wow.
I feel like I must do it for you, but it is to release the gas.
Wow.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Release the Kraken.
Yep. Better the Kraken not be coming out your ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's
Turn
that.
into a
More-
fart
little
box.
more
How old are
polite
you-
to release the
So
Kraken
how
into
old
the
were you
glass
when you
than out of
first
your ass.
made drinks?
I don't know.
I'm at like 12, I think. 10 or
Oh,
12.
way younger than that. Probably.
We're beer fetchers as soon as we could walk.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, I learned
Well,
rush.
My
rush
family,
the-
Why-
my family never drank a lot of mixed cocktails. It was there was a wine cooler phase for a long time, so there
Oh,
was some
yes.
Bartles and James happening.
California coolers.
When I was old enough to see the counter and put the whiskey in the glass was however old I was that day.
All right.
But rush the duck meant go downstairs and grab a beer
I
from
was
the fridge.
this. I was
Okay.
this old.
I
Over the
was
counter.
counter high. Yeah. Because the liquor cupboard upstairs was right next to the sink. But
Sure.
yeah, we were that my dad's. I don't think we ever narrowed down where that came from. Like nobody ever pinned him down and said, "What does that mean?" But if he said "rush the duck," that meant
Go get me a
go
beer.
go get a beer from downstairs.
Hello, Anand. Welcome. I don't remember how old. I like you. I agree. I
Yeah.
probably was a beer fetcher here and there,
Well-
but I do remember specifically, Mom. You might recall this, but you may not. I remember in 1984 because Mom had got the gray Grand Prix car, and because we were back home in Missouri, it was a smaller town. Everybody knew everybody, right? So I had no
But not
driver's
any
license.
firemen because there's not a lot.
But
of
no,
them.
but we were
Yeah.
far from Cape Girardeau. I remember driving with the money because we had to have milk for the morning because breakfast cereal as kids.
Container of milk,
And
loaf of bread.
and I remember buying Mom beer at the store. I'd go, and it was cigarettes. I think back in the day she was smoking, so I'd go drive the car illegally at 14 years old. Drive to the corner store, which was probably 2 miles from the house by the way where we lived, and gallon of milk and smokes and beer and everybody. Tell your mom I said hi, and then
Oh, yeah,
I
there
just
was-
would go home.
Oh.
There was no question about that at the grocery store to buy the case of beer, buy whatever it was to throw in there. It must have been whiskey for my grandfather, like whatever it was. Like they knew it wasn't for.
Right. It was sure.
They knew that this particular batch of groceries, and I'm sure I snuck something in for myself, but most of the time it was. I think my grandfather wanted like a bottle of VO, a $50 bill, and a cigar or something. Was his? That's what had to come home from the bank cashing and the
Gotcha.
grocery store and all that stuff.
Okay.
I think it was VO. It was some bottle of whiskey, a cigar, and a $50 bill was what he needed as his token of appreciation from. There's all kinds of fucker. My family's nuts.
I like it.
And they're not here to defend themselves right now. Wait till Debbie
Mine was-
makes it.
mine
but
wasn't
all
my-
they
mine-
would do is not agree with that story.
Right.
And correct me on what kind of
Right.
whiskey it was.
Mine wasn't my parents. They didn't. My mother wouldn't have allowed me to do that. But it was when we would go to Tucson to my dad's side of the family because that's the alcoholic side of the family. And so my we would call it great aunt, of your siblings of your grandmother. And so it would be like Thanksgiving, big things. They would come and stay for a week, and so they were old, so they would just make me get up and anybody little. But so my uncle, but it wasn't very complex. It's my Uncle Gene because he'd start drinking about 11 a.m.
Had a
good
good
time.
girl. Yeah.
11 comes
about
twice
11.
a day.
About in his big tumbler. And he would just tell me, he'd just put ice in it, and he's like, you just fill it halfway up with the brown part, and then the rest is water, and then so it was probably like whiskey. I don't know what it was.
And
so.
if you got a little bit of a essential tremor as you get it to me, it's going to be shaking. We're already happy.
And they would just drink that, all of them, all day long. And he was really funny. He was the gay uncle, the one gay one, So, and he was just so funny. And I can remember I think I maybe was only like 8 or 9. And I remember what he hand it to him. And he'd say, "Thank you." He'd take a sip, and he's like, it's a little bit better than elephant piss, but not much.
Not much. Yeah.
I feel like somebody in
Sorry,
my back
uncle.
life
Yeah.
used to say
Yes.
something like that.
It must have been a thing back then, but he'd say it, and he has such a good sense of humor. He was so funny.
Oh gosh, that sparked some reflection of a memory in me for some reason. I don't know who said it. I may never know.
Yeah.
But wow.
So, and Anand is listening from tomorrow, where it's May Day or the Labor Day in India.
Oh, sure.
That they're celebrating the Workers' Day, traditionally celebrated with vodka, in honor of the Ruskies.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
I like vodka.
Whose story is it?
Did we? Is yours resolved?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yours resolved.
We don't know if the bartender was sacked or not,
Yeah.
but
Oh, you had the bad
follow.
head.
Yeah,
Sorry.
2 stories to follow up on now. Look at you.
So there's a lot that's wrong with this
Investigative
next story. Armed robber accidentally shoots himself in the penis while robbing a hot dog stand.
Film at 11.
Exactly. Wiener for wiener.
when
this has to be fate.
when the
what
gun
is the
goes
source
off
on this?
in the waistband of his pants. His name is Terrion Pouncey. 19.
Christ. It sounds like a cat.
He's a little less
Right.
pouncy now.
Shot
Yeah.
himself in the penis while allegedly trying to rob a hot dog stand in Chicago's South Side neighborhood.
Also, how much money are you getting off a hot dog stand?
Right.
Chicago dogs are expensive.
He held 2 employees
idea.
of Maxwell Street Express at gunpoint Tuesday morning. Pouncey put his gun in his waistband and ran, but accidentally pulled the trigger. He's recovering in the hospital. He accidentally shot himself in the penis while allegedly holding up a hot dog stand. 2 men, 39 and 45, were working at the restaurant during the time of the robbery. Pouncey allegedly held the gun to the head of the 39-year-old. He had been holding. I
Oh my
like this
God.
part. He had been holding a bucket filled with grease and asked the other employee to get cash from the register. As they handed the cash and their wallets over, the bucket of grease spilled and the money went flying.
Wait, who was
Pouncey-
holding the grease? Pouncey?
I think the guy he was robbing. Pouncey
Oh,
grabbed
okay.
the money and tucked the gun in his waistband and began to flee. As he ran, the gun accidentally went off and shot him in the penis.
Oh God.
He ran a few blocks away and then called 911 to say he had been shot, and police arrested him at the hospital.
Yeah.
I bet.
I feel like when you say that name, remember the story we had a week or so ago where the guys were named like Shifty and D Money.
Oh yeah, D-Money
and Smoothie.
And now, we can add Pouncey.
Pouncey is
Pouncey.
part of the group now.
Well,
Pouncey.
Yes, he's
Oh.
got his sagging pants and all kinds of
and
the
his,
thug life.
yes, thug life.
Shot his own hot dog while trying to rob a hot dog.
Pouncey shot himself in the back.
My God.
That's all I got.
It's enough.
That's
I'm
all you
out.
need.
I'm out now.
Pouncey gave.
That was
Some
was
gave all,
plenty.
Pouncey gave just the tip.
Yeah, just the tip.
plenty.
So, Pouncey's not going to have a lot of fun in Portland, Maine.
Oh.
Because the tradition of releasing balloons at weddings, birthdays, penis removals, and memorials may soon get deflated by lawmakers in more than a half a dozen states.
Agree with this.
Critics say the helium-filled balloons pollute the environment and threaten birds and other wildlife when they fall to the earth. People don't realize that it's littering. That's why we want to bring attention to this, said
It is.
State Representative Lydia Bloom, who's supporting a balloon bill in Maine. It's a common sense thing. Nationwide, there's a growing awareness of the problem, and it has energized legalization in state governments. Bills to limit the intentional release of large numbers of balloons are being aired in legislatures in Arizona, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Rhode Island, Maine. Texas is also considering a study, that's as far as it'll go, on wind-blown and waterborne litter that could include helium balloons. Kentucky is also considering it. These states would join California, Connecticut, Florida, Tennessee, and Virginia, all of which already have laws that ban or restrict launches. California's laws applies only to foil balloons, while Connecticut is currently considering a stricter
Mylar.
law. A Florida environmental activist helped launch a non-profit organization called Balloons Blow. Clever, isn't she? Maine's proposal to ban mass balloon releases took flight at a town meeting last month on Unity. Penny Sampson, chairwoman of the select board, said she had witnessed a couple releases in person, and I guess she cried all day. Once was in 2000 when... Oh, this is a sad story. I'm not going to read that. To pollute the environment and cause... Because now we're going to be laughing at something truly horrible when they did the memorial. Marine life, wildlife issues is really not a good way to memorialize someone. So just if you think like that balloon thing is, you just don't. Like we
I
all
agree.
99 red balloons was the last we had.
Someone
here.
did that at the memorial kind, and I was like,
Yeah.
we need to really not do it. But
Yeah.
what
just
can you say?
Shoot him down. Target practice.
Turn it into
Yeah.
a game. That sounds fun.
But yeah, before it gets to the ocean and kills a dolphin, how about we stop that shit?
Yeah, I agree. That does need to be done. I totes agree with that. The other thing is Mylar balloons, because they will actually conduct
Right.
electricity.
Right.
They have gotten caught in power lines before and shorted out entire neighborhoods.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
So that's a
that's
bad.
what-
Well, actually, there was a fire.
And ours was
started.
Mylar at the memorial I went to. It was
Oh.
a big Mylar heart balloon, and
Yeah.
they like let it go.
Yeah,
I was like,
they conduct electricity.
Time to start taking the air rifle to the memorials.
Somewhere the internet's not working because of that Mylar balloon.
somewhere. In our last story for our headline section, before we get into something possibly
Else.
more entertaining, we're going to delve into some science. Some science here. Science and religion.
You're all
Some-
about science.
They mix.
Sometimes
today.
they don't. Sometimes they commingle. Sometimes they don't.
they don't.
Over Easter weekend, hundreds of people visited the gum tree in the suburb of Perth, Australia, after the tree appeared to start weeping on Good Friday, which the faithful took to be divine sign from the heavens. For 3 days, the tree continued to leak water from a branch stump, provoking people to drink the holy water and then bathe in it.
Well,
Quote,
at least they're clean.
what made it exciting yesterday is a man decided to take off all of his clothes and have a shower, remarks neighbor Jackie Basic, I think we're going to go with that.
Sure.
He told the local news station. The religious excitement died down after the Water Corporation discovered the tree's naturally growing roots had simply wrapped themselves around a cracked iron water pipe. And then the water shot straight up the tree and leaked out of a hollow trunk that started spewing
That's
the
happened
water.
to me once.
That's incontinence.
Yeah.
Very
Now when
different.
it spurts out your face.
Different.
Oh, that's your face. Well, not exactly sure what you meant. Oh, what the hell was that? What was that?
What was that?
What was that? I don't even know what that
Is that
was.
a ghost?
That was an insincere laugh, much like the one we were already
Yeah,
doing.
Yeah,
here.
and, but it was like
Good to have
perfect
that queued up.
timing.
That was
Ready?
perfect time. I don't know how that worked, but this is what I meant to play, and we'll see how we'll yeah, this. It is.
We'll do it live.
Entertainment! We have a note from the Game of Thrones cinematographer. And the Tony nominations are out today. I'm not real current on that. Then I have a TV show recommendation for you from the Netflixes.
Okay.
And
Can I make a contribution?
Yeah, of course.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction happened. And then a show to look forward to in June, but we may have already talked about it. I
Okay.
did not update my list.
Who knows? We'll
So
do it
who
again.
knows?
All right, we're going to be back in just mere moments with a little entertainment, and then later on, Kat Carlson with the Wheel of Love and Tenderness.
Yeah.
David, what does burning smell like?
You're listening to Q Talk America. This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
Well, we're running early, but we don't care. We don't care why, because we are the network that gets it done in a hurry on a Tuesday. We're bringing it home. I'm making up all these things right now because I can. Hi, everybody. It's the show. It's a Tuesday night in Studio C with Kat Carlson, Doug Wilkie, and Al Perkins. I'm Clayton, so enjoy the ride if you will. If not, you can always turn us off. Both of you. however you work.
What's that line from Salt and Pepper? Like,
I don't know.
let's talk about sex. Those that think it's dirty have a choice. Pick up the radio, pick up the needle, press pause, or turn the radio off.
Oh, look at you.
That feels right.
Look at you spitting some bars.
Yeah,
Look at me trying to be Ari Melber.
Bitten
Yeah.
some bars.
I love that song.
Anyhow, I'm going to look for that lyric while you do the entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, it's entertainment with Al Perkins.
So we'll start with something I think we talked about last week. I just forgot to delete it off my list. But the Tales of the City are coming to the Netflix June 7th.
I don't think we did talk about it.
I don't think so either, but
Okay.
I'm actually looking forward to it.
So
Or I was not paying attention at all.
I've a feeling that they're gonna, because they did They did the first 2 books as series. One was on PBS. PBS did it. Showtime did it, and they may have done all of the first 3 books. They may have been 3 seasons.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that since they're sticking with so many of the original cast, that they're going to switch to Michael Tolliver Lives, Marianne and Autumn, and the Times of Anna Madrigal.
Okay.
So I think they're just going to jump those middle 3 books.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I know I definitely for sure Olympia Dukakis is back, and so is the one that I actually think is Marianne. I never remember her real name because I call her Marianne.
I don't know.
Oscar nominee for The Savages.
Don't know the nicknames
Laura
that you
Linney.
have for people. Okay.
Laura Linney. She's been playing.
Wow.
That was like her first role was as Marianne, and so when I see her in movies, I don't think, oh, Laura Linney. I'm like, Marianne got a job. Like she a newscaster back east somewhere. Never happened to that daughter. So I mean, it's that kind of shit. Where with you with the Grey's Anatomy, it's me with the Tales of the City.
I understand. No.
Yeah.
I'm not
actually,
judging you.
Yeah, I've actually asked cab drivers to take me to Barbary Lane, and they're like, enough.
It's not
I mean,
a
they
thing,
don't
right.
get the reference anymore, but back in the 90s when I used to do it, they'd be like, stop. Doesn't exist. So that's June 7th on the Netflixes. And then the Netflixes have pissed me off. We may break. We're not going to break up, but I'm very disappointed with that.
By raising their price by $3.
I didn't care about that. They
Okay.
canceled Santa Clarita Diet.
Yes, they did.
Very upsetting after a very clever season 3, and it turns out that the guy that I like so much on it that I met at the Donna Summer concert was from Better Off Ted, and the guy that writes Santa Clarita Diet is the creator and writer of Better Off Ted. So that's why that sense of that humor appealed to me so much. Turns out I like his style. When he writes something, I'll go along.
All right.
So that was very sad. Oh, the Wheel of the Week.
Not connected.
And then not
I
connected.
didn't realize we were keeping notifications on just all the shows.
I always keep my thing because sometimes if I don't drink and they need me at work, I'll go. Like I'll be like, all right, I'll go in and finish a shift.
Sure.
On the Netflix, but it's really from NBC, I think. Is Good Girls. Have you seen Good Girls?
So
No.
I have, and they have pissed me off in the second season because it's currently running now.
Oh, and I'm not caught up with the first season.
They
so.
came up, and it's not really a spoiler. They came up to an episode where she was being like just kind of a badass bitch, just like taking control and just wonderful.
The one from Mad Men. Her?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Christina Hendricks.
Yeah, Christina Hendricks.
Anyway, so they're like setting her up to be just a boss bitch. And then they do this thing that I just kind of hated where I don't know what in the hell she was thinking, but she takes the left turn and she like just fucks the dude because I don't know why. And I was like, and I haven't watched it since. I'm like, fuck you.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, and my thing
Like
was...
through the whole thing, super clever. It's super fun.
Yeah, very dark. Very dark.
Very dark, but very... And I always find myself weirdly like drawn to those... like average people driven to do bad things by desperation,
Yeah.
and a little bit of cleverness and hilarity ensues. It's very Weeds.
Bad
Yeah.
blood.
It is.
It's a little bit Breaking Bad almost.
Totally Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking for Genji Cohen's name on there. It felt very Weeds to me.
Mm-hmm.
My only issue with it, and it's not really an issue, it's just like, can they just like crime? Like, do we have to make them sympathetic? Like, can they just be 3 women who decide crime works faster, easier, better?
No, I think the motivation for it.
But I just feel like we had to beat them down so many times. Like,
But I also feel like so many people are beat down so many
Right, yeah.
times. Like, I think that they're more relatable
probably.
even than what's her bitch from Weeds. Like, I didn't find her especially relatable.
Oh no, she was awful.
Right. She was just
awful
terrible.
and never had a job.
Right.
Like, she was not
And
trying.
I think that this one has all of the same elements as Weeds did, but with really relatable characters.
Yeah.
Like, you totally get why they've just decided, okay, fuck it, we're doing this.
Yeah.
All right. I'm either going to jail or I'm homeless, or what I mean.
So maybe
like,
I just want to see another TV show not based on this one, where it's just 3 women
just-
decide, crime's fun.
Crime.
Let's just
I
rob
watched
shit.
on that note
Hey, girl,
a
wanna
show
do
that
crime?
no one
Yeah.
else watches called Claws on TNT.
Oh,
with,
no, I've
with,
never
Okay.
seen that.
with Niecy Nash, who
Oh,
I
I love her.
love.
I love her.
And she's the only reason why I tuned in. I was like, I don't know. They pitched it to HBO. They turned it down, but it's similar. She owns a nail salon in Florida, but Niecy Nash does. But the inner workings of the story is that there's a mob like family, and they're controlling in this Florida market some drug sales, and so they get pulled into this criminal element. But it is kind of that going on where they're kind of like, and it's also the girl in this salon,
Yeah.
where it is kind of like, well, they're walking the line of integrity, and then at some point they're kind of like, they're laundering money and whatever.
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
they're like, this is working.
Yeah.
So I
But
love the
everybody's
show.
nails are good, right?
Oh
It's
my
like
god!
all the mobster people.
Oh my god!
good.
And seriously, that whole show is like it's the whole nails thing.
Well, that was the one thing in The Walking Dead was when they would show the zombies, they would forget to do something with their hands. Like the first 2 or 3 seasons, they had beautifully manicured hands.
Yeah.
And then somebody was like, you need to look at the makeup one more time.
Well,
Yeah.
So anyway, but Good Girls, it's very, it's very entertaining.
It's entertaining. It's
Yeah, and
I
it's
think
got
it's
Mae
really well
Whitman,
done.
and they're doing that thing from another. It's nitpicky, I know, it makes no difference, but the age thing always don't make me start wondering how old you are in a TV show. Like, don't say you're someone's mother when I know you're 5 years apart. Like, don't pull that shit.
Oh, sure.
Don't put Clint Eastwood's got a daughter that's 30 and no one's gonna talk about where's the wife that he married when he was 60 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like there's gotta be a conversation about why mom married grandpa. You know what I mean? Like.
No, but the Mae Whitman backstory is like
Yeah, but he's not playing rich people in the
Yeah.
movies. It's just like
no, but that backstory is easy. She's like knocked up high school mom who
Right,
now
right,
has a
right.
teenager. Like she's barely 30 if she's
right. But Christina Hendricks is 44 years old. So all these stories about growing up together. One
Oh,
of you
sure.
was done with high school when the other one
Okay.
went to first grade.
Right.
I thought
You
you
were
were
not
questioning like Mae
Oh.
Whitman, the teenage
no,
mom.
no,
I'm
no,
like,
no.
no, that 100%
Absolutely.
makes sense.
Absolutely.
Oh, but putting her as
yeah, and then the other ones that have been married for 20 years
They're
in this
not
relationship, but their
contemporaries.
oldest kid is like 12.
right.
Like, so you didn't realize you didn't like each other like 8 years in
We're
before you
bad
had
at
the
math.
first. Yeah, but the whole thing.
Or
and
we're good at birth
They
control.
did it on Designing Women all the time with Julia Sugarbaker and the sister. That I'm
Right.
like, these two are not like. If I was Delta Burke, I'd be like, listen, bitch, I am not her age. Like we are, they're like 20 years apart.
Right.
Like that was a big, huge age discrepancy, and all of a sudden they'd be sitting on Grandpa's knee at the same time. I'm like, one of you is creepy in that story. Like, one of you should not be on Grandpa's knee at that
Yeah,
age.
I didn't catch the bad math at that.
Yeah,
in
that was shocking. Later I'll Google that and find out how far apart that was. So that was my thing. So I mean, on that topic,
Right.
Game of Thrones, forced to watch it again. Went to a place with no HBO, so of course, tears.
Stop going those places.
But I watched it on my iPad, and I had to hide somewhere dark because
was
daylight
so-
savings time makes it so light outside that you
Right.
can't control. Like I thought I was gonna have to like lock myself into a bathroom and like close the. It
hide
was-
under the blankets.
But I watched it, and there was lots of complaints. I thought it was just me, but it really was a topic of conversation throughout the world.
The internet was a buzz.
Was a buzz about it. And now that I watched it at home, really well lit, I thought, for a battle that took place during a blizzard at night. Like,
Oh yeah,
Any
I
kind
thought
of-
that all of the
given these few qualifiers.
right. It was
Uphill
supposed to be
both
dark
ways.
and confusing
Dark-
because
yeah.
if you can imagine what it would be like when there's no ambient urban light,
Right.
and how dark it is. Like if you've ever gone camping or to Idaho, and you've seen like how dark it actually
Yeah.
No,
gets.
seriously, no, totally. It's like pitch black.
Yeah, this is nighttime.
Right, nighttime is really dark, so you can imagine just how confusing a nighttime
Oh, yeah.
battle would be with
Yeah.
like maybe fire over here and maybe a little bit of stars, but it seemed to be they were portraying a very, very dark night. Like
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot of light considering
Yeah.
the
Wha-
circumstances that they were supposed to be fighting under and how confusing that would be.
Sure.
So let's go to our interview with the cinematographer and see what he has to say.
What
But we
what
will.
does the cinematographer say, Al?
He says. Let's see if he says the same.
Did he
things.
say you're welcome?
He says, well, if you cannot see what's going on, that might be you. A lot of the problem is a lot of people don't know how to tune their TVs properly. A lot of people also, unfortunately, watch it on small iPads, which in no way can do justice to. It's the largest battle scene ever filmed for movies or television.
Longer than Helm's Deep,
Yeah.
which was the record holder from the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
I mean, that
That was a 40-minute monstrosity.
55
I don't think I
night
know.
shoot, the most expensive
Yeah.
episode of television ever filmed.
That was
maybe
yeah.
go bigger than your iPad to watch this. The Cobalt seems to be showing it on Sunday nights.
We're showing it on the entire wall, and
Yeah.
I am super uncomfortable with the amount of violence mixed with the alcohol in a public place.
Yeah.
So I don't go there for that. But
Oh, that's right. You don't work Sundays.
I don't work. No.
It also happens with Drag Race, so there.
That is also
Violent.
a shocking
Violence.
amount of violence mixed with
Alcohol.
but yeah,
Alcohol.
Koval's showing it on the
Exactly.
giant wall. But unfortunately, we're having kind of the same issues with the sun still being up at 7 o'clock when it starts. So our projectors aren't even quite as wonderful till later on in the show.
Are the black drapes ordered to block out all
I
light?
it's not my department. I watched it on my glorious 60-inch television in my own home.
It's above your pay grade. Gotcha.
Not-
She
Wow.
just doesn't
Not in
care
my
about
department.
that.
Check mark on that list.
This cinematographer also did Hard Home and Battle of the Bastards, the two other large battles that they showed. Wanted a distinctive look. Another look would have been wrong. Everything we wanted people to see is there.
Yep.
Game of Thrones has always been a very dark and a very cinematic show. We tried to give the viewers and fans a cool episode to watch. I know it wasn't too dark because I shot it. Another issue noted by... I like a little bitchiness.
I know it's good because I made it.
Yeah, another issue noted by tech-savvy TV fans is compression of the video streamed by HBO or cable, satellite, or internet providers, something that can vary considerably depending on your source. Basically, you get a much less murky image with a higher quality stream. So that really could have had a lot to do with why it was so dark on the iPad on someone else's.
Oh, sure.
someone else's
Pay for
stream.
better internet. Dum-dums.
No,
Right.
Where at home, I mean, that really there was no part of it that I didn't know who someone was.
Oh
And the
no,
one-
yeah, I
Yeah. So that's what I did before I came over. And the other thing I want to say about this episode to you, probably the most beautiful score I have heard in ages.
Yeah.
There is a music cue when they're hiding behind the crypt and Tyrion, is that his name?
yeah.
Kisses Sansa's hand.
That was
That
such a sweet moment
I
for them too.
Actually kind of screamed out loud a little bit thinking they were about to commit suicide. That music cue was so
Oh sure.
cinematic and it was so
Thank you.
You're welcome.
very John Woo, if you know who that director
Yeah.
is. Very like a little operatic, like here's our signature
Right.
for this scene. Oh, and the buildup of that piano, which is only the second time that I think they've used piano. The other one was when they blew up the temple.
Okay. So I obviously don't nerd out about movies and cinematography as much, but I know like how movies should feel, and this was so well done.
Yeah, it was just
Like
beautifully,
so well done.
beautifully
the
done.
spoilers ahead. The silence at the beginning would have been absolutely perfect if not for my dear lovely wife. Who
Yeah.
couldn't shut up.
Like I'm just trying to.
Kept just commenting. and I'm like,
Yeah, kept adding narrative.
You're not the narrator here.
Let's
Shut
just have
up!
this experience.
It's supposed to be quiet. They did this on
Exactly.
purpose because you're supposed to be
It's
anticipating
dramatic.
the war. It's going to be awful here in about 3 minutes. Shut the fuck up!
That
If
she's
they
over there
wanted
like,
somebody to say something,
and
they
then
would put it in
and
there.
then, and then this part, and you're like,
Oh yeah. Oh, he's gonna die. Shut the fuck up!
I will tell you that
I
very
said
thing.
none of those things, by the way.
That is
Yes.
a very reason I really do enjoy watching TV alone.
yeah,
Because
I know.
I don't have to deal with that kind
I
of stuff.
know.
And usually I don't care. Like usually I'm not super invested in whatever we're watching, and
Yeah.
Sharon's one of those people that just I think has to talk sometimes.
if the
like,
thought comes
just,
in her head.
Well, no, some
And-
people are
and-
really uncomfortable with shared silence.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
I'm
it.
super fine
I
sitting next to you,
love it.
real quiet,
Oh, yeah.
Or the
doing
sounds
my own
of
thing.
silence.
Yeah.
That's a great song too.
Yeah. Well, no, but I meant the sound of silence in the show is what I was
Yeah.
meaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, some people are really uncomfortable by shared silence.
Yeah,
And
I like it.
Especially that when it was just breathing and walking, it was all
Right.
like very
So
ambient.
good.
Oh yeah.
and so like suspenseful, which is what it was supposed to be, and the whole thing was so very stressful.
Yeah.
And moved at exactly the right pace. Like it wasn't too fast. Like oh my god, I don't
And the
know
thing
what's
with
happening.
the lights going out was
Oh, and all the yeah.
Whoever wrote that, just genius. That was just genius.
Chilling.
That's how you know that
Chilling.
everyone died was the lights
The
went
li-
out.
Sure,
they-
because that's
all
how
their-
it would look.
All their torches
Yeah.
were extinguished,
Yeah.
and that's all you could
It's,
see
like,
from
so
a distance was the
realistic.
torches, and you're like, oh, that did not end well for them.
But all that
We didn't need to see a minute of battle to know whatever just happened.
whatever
down
just
there.
happened
I
badly.
like that they did the actual, like you were saying, how dark or the lights going like so like real.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always remember, I think it was Roger Ebert or somebody, one of the film's critics hates in the Sword and Sandal movies. You know, the big, what was the Brad Pitt one when he was
Was he hurt? No.
Hercules or something?
Something.
And and he's speaking to the troops, and he's yelling out to like 5,000 troops, and they're like, there were no microphones back then.
Right.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been able to hear him past the 30th person.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like
Right.
just how unrealistic.
And they're all, like, all the sand,
and
there's
and they
wind.
can all hear
Right.
him. And, no,
Over the
that's
crash
not,
of the ocean.
Right.
It's going to be, and he
And he's
told
going
two
like-
friends, and he told two friends. Right.
So it sounds like Game of Thrones did it.
Yeah, and
in a
there's one
legit
part during
way.
the
So
battle where
well.
people are screaming that no one hears them. And it was really, really well done. It was a very, very tense episode, walking to find somewhere darker in someone's house to watch this. And the good thing about watching it with other people is I can tell them my guesses about what's going to happen next because I can't stop myself.
Right.
Here's what I think's going to happen now.
Sharon.
But yeah.
Al Perkins.
No, but not
Right.
during the quiet parts. Like me when that music cue started.
Maybe you can watch it with her.
Yeah.
I have a TV viewing buddy for you.
Yeah. But mine was when that music cue started and they had that look with each other and she pulled out the dagger and I was like, oh, she's gonna kill herself. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I didn't even think of that. See, I thought, because I think very differently about a lot of these characters, I thought she was going to get up and start fucking some people up.
killing
I
some
thought she was
people.
just going to go on a
Yeah.
stabbing spree
But
with
and
that
with
little
a
thing.
different music cue, I would have thought that
Yeah.
too. But that music cue was so like, and now the end is near.
And it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just so, and then I watched in like without really like watching it. Like I went to bed that night and put in my headphones and just listened to from that second the music cues right to the end, like how it just keeps changing for the walk across the field
Yeah.
to Bran. And then when the whisper of wind comes by the guy's hair,
Yeah.
and like there's a music cue there, and I was like, this is just beautifully scored. Like I was like, oh my god, I just want to like dive deep into every time they got another, and like whoever was there watching along, they conduct watching the
While
screen.
they're watching it, yeah.
And there's got to be times you're like, oh, this is terrific. Like whoever was sitting there in the orchestra doing Chariots of Fire was like, well,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
just
Yeah.
moving.
They do. They hit the big time.
There's got to be a moment, like whoever's doing like dun dun da, the Raiders of the Lost
Right.
Ark. You have to be sitting there watching the movie, going, "Well, this is really good what he wrote," because they are watching
Not the
the
cat
screen to
food.
get
Not the
moving.
music for the cat food jingle.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep change. Go.
Let me see if there's anything else. I don't think there is.
Excuse me. One thing that I've not watched it. I almost feel like I could at least watch just this fight sequence and get a lot out of it. But one of the things that story says that I think is accurate is people don't realize in the modern day of television, there's like 7 different ways you can program a TV. There's vivid, there's standard, there's sports,
right.
there's
Right,
movie.
right.
There's all these different settings. So they're right. If you don't have it set properly, those nuanced, darker scenes of anything, you're just going to miss what it is.
Yeah.
To me, it almost, I would equate it in a way to what you're talking about when you do letterbox. Like,
Yeah.
if they're not letterboxing it and you miss all the peripheral shit that's going on,
Right.
you may not get the whole scene meaning. So again, the dimmer scenes of nighttime shots, whether maybe there's a sign or a car or a person in the background that you really don't see because you've got your TV in your bedroom set so dim because you don't want it to be bright in your, or whatever. But no, that's a good point. People need to pay attention to how they adjust their TV to view things.
And my friend Patrick, when we were talking about Ozark, he'd like watched the first season of Ozark. The new season was coming. He's like, "Oh my god, if you thought the first season was dark," and I was like, "I didn't really think it was all that dark of a dark like lighting
Visually
wise
dark.
Well, then I watched it when we were at that in New Mexico on that big giant projector screen in that person's basement. That's where I watched the first couple episodes. I'm like, there's just eyes on this screen. And then I went home and watched it on my TV, and I'm like, oh, it really is the source because that big projector has so much like light behind it and it's blowing it up to such a gigantic size.
You lose so much.
You lose all the clarity of the picture, and that really was a radio program. Like by the second episode, I'm like, I can't even watch this. Every time they do, and they're criminals. They're always laundering money at night.
Sure.
I don't know why you can't wash money in the daytime.
Because you don't want to bleach it.
Yeah. So the Tony nominations came out, so we'll just do a couple of
Okay.
couple of highlights, see what happened. Best musical, Ain't Too Proud, The Times of the Temptations, Beetlejuice, Hadestown. That's the one about hell, right? Going to hell.
Yes, and I'm not super familiar with Hadestown yet.
I'm not either.
It's
The
on
Prom,
my list.
The low budget one about the gay, right? The gay couple that wants to go to the prom and all the celebrities come to town to help
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
And then
Which
Tootsie
seems loosely based on a true story. Like I'm not really well read on that, but I'm
That
like,
would be
I
the
remember,
best true story ever.
I remember hearing about
Something
this
similar.
Prom. Like I'm pretty sure the prom thing happened several times in a lot of small towns. And,
Yeah, and, like, someone
either
famous
inspired
came.
it or maybe even there was socialites from New York coming. It's not
Yeah.
even famous people, I don't think, in the plot that really come. It's just a bunch
No.
of just a bunch of
and in the show,
snooty
it's
Broadway people.
Broadway. Yeah, that's no, and I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think they make fun of them just being Broadway stars
Right.
and nobody really knowing who they are. Best revival of a play: Arthur Miller's All My Sons, The Boys in the Band, Burn This, Torch Song, which was Torch Song Trilogy originally, and The Waverly Gallery. Only 2 for revival: Kiss Me Kate and Rodgers and Hammerstein's New Oklahoma. If you're in any way interested, the reimagining of Oklahoma. Find some clips. They're all online, and find out what they did to A Tale as Old as Time. And there is some interesting musical choices there. That is some really interesting music in a show that no one should ever have to sit through. That show is long, and it's about corn. Best book of a musical: Ain't Too Proud, Beetlejuice, Hadestown, The Prom, Tootsie. So, best original score: Be More Chill. And I think Be More Chill is the one that flopped. Got really big on the cast recording and online, and then it came back to Broadway based on the internet sensation that it became.
Right. Children on Twitter grabbed a hold of this thing, identified with it, lost
Twitter
their damn
just
minds over it.
blows everything up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And brought
Well,
this one, so it didn't get nominated for best musical, and I'm not sure. Well, it could have best original score, so it could have been up, but just a weird
Yeah,
weird
it's kind
story.
Of, it's kind of a cool story. The way that it kind of, I don't want to say went viral, but did. You know what I mean? Because all of a sudden, all these teenagers are talking about it. You know what I mean? All these high school kids are just like trading memes and bullshit for Be More Chill and. Right,
Yeah.
honest to God, like they're losing their damn
And
minds
they
over
did it
it.
enough that while it was like getting, people were trying to mount it in high schools because there was such an interest, they were bringing it back to Broadway. So they'd already lost or sold the rights to school, and it's going to Broadway or on Broadway.
Yep.
So Adam Driver for Burn This gets nominated for an actor in a leading role. So now he has Oscar,
Did Kerry Russell
Emmy.
get it? I love her. Can that woman just please get an award for something?
Right, like a real one.
God.
No, she did not. It was
okay.
I heard that's a tough category though. But Adam Driver now is Tony, Emmy, and Oscar nominated
Wow.
for the little 30-something-year-old from
Wow.
Juilliard that could.
That's
Look at him go.
amazing.
Brian Cranston for Network, Jeff Daniels for
Bless you.
To
Bless
Kill
you.
a Mockingbird, which is a new imagining of To Kill a Mockingbird that they're shitting all over high schools that are doing productions of the old version of
Well,
To Kill
because
a
isn't it
Mockingbird.
Aaron Sorkin that
Yeah,
came
he
in and
rewrote-
shit all over To Kill a Mockingbird, and now they're not letting schools do the old version
Oh.
because he needs everyone to see and pay for his version?
Oh my
Fuck Aaron Sorkin.
God.
Talk about really bad.
That's wrong
for
bad,
so
bad
many
PR.
reasons.
Yeah, just shitty.
Oh my God.
Performance
And we
by
love
actress.
The West Wing so much.
I know.
Exactly.
I
Oh,
know.
And Social Network. Don't even get started on
Right.
how much
Yeah.
I love that movie. And that stupid I've Got a Stutter movie fucking wins. Okay, so best performance by an actress in a leading role: Annette Bening for All My Sons. Elaine May came back for The Waverly Gallery. Laurie Metcalf for her Hillary and Clinton, which I just read reviews of on the plane today. And it's Conversations in 1996 or no 2008. It's Conversations. It's based on Conversations with Hillary and Bill in 2008. And they said it's just no one's trying to do an imitation of either one.
Right.
They're just playing these characters that you know a little bit more about their future than they do.
Okay.
And it's interesting. And then this Heidi Schreck, What the Constitution Means to Me, this thing that she's been writing and performing all over the country for years. She's been doing it since high school. That's another interesting one that I read the review of today. So
It fascinates me people that can do like acting over and over and over and over and over again.
and
Like,
just keep it, but it's not really
just-
acting.
yeah.
She's telling stories of the Constitution. It's kind of like
They just do anything over and over again. And not
Yeah,
right.
bore people to
what
death.
what was the Lily Tomlin one? The Search for Intelligent Life. Search for Intelligent Life in the
Same
Universe.
song. Same
Exactly.
jokes.
7 years.
That's
Look
right.
at this.
No
Yeah,
one's been
still
bored.
here. 7 Tony Award nomination runs. So the actor
Did we get nominated for a
No.
Tony?
No, just some guy named Tony likes
Seventh
us.
Oh,
year run- seventh
right.
year running.
Yeah.
7th year running.
That's it.
Santino Fontana, who you may remember from the first couple years of Crazy,
Crazy
Ex-Girlfriend.
Ex-Girlfriend. He was also in the most recent Broadway revival of Cinderella. He played
And
Prince Charming.
he was the bad prince in Frozen.
He was.
And he actually he's the only guy that really has a song besides whatever the Do You Want to Build a Snowman. So anyways, I've been seeing these ads for Tootsie because the marketing blitz for Tootsie is just out of fucking control.
Oh, it's good.
And I keep thinking, I recognize this guy, but he's always in the Tootsie makeup, and I can't make the leap. I can't switch it over, and I just never
Can't figure
bothered
out
to
who he
look it
is.
up. And then finally, I read the review, and they said who he was, and I'm like, God damn it, that's Greg from the
right.
first 2 seasons. So now I really want to go see Tootsie. And it's getting great reviews. Actress in a leading role, Stephanie J. Block, is Cher.
I love her, by the way.
Beth Lavelle, who gave us As We Stumble Along from The Drowsy Chaperone for The Prom, and Kelly O'Hara for Kiss Me Kate. I think she finally has her Tony, and we no longer have to keep worrying about her. I think they finally gave her one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else exciting in here.
Oh, he did a small stint in Hello Dolly too. He played Cornelius Hackle. Santino Fontana.
Oh, I would have.
I just looked him up.
I would have gone to see that.
Sure.
Did somebody say you couldn't?
Well, you can't anymore.
Ah.
I just did. You can't.
So, and now I got to find out which play it was. So the one play, best revival, best play. Anyways, one of them got like the most Tony Award nominations ever, and it's not for a musical. It's actually for a play, which makes it even more unheard of because you don't have all those like choreography and stuff like that. I guess they don't even have it on here. Which one it was. But anyways, so, or maybe it was
Hadestown earned the most with 14.
14, so it was a musical. My bad. So that was it.
That'd be really
Some
hard for a
interesting
play
stuff.
to get.
Yeah, because they're missing some categories.
Because all those music categories.
So I read that wrong.
Choreography and
that guy from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, so cute, and he's been recast. So for the last season, he is not playing Greg.
I know.
But it's all right.
Yeah, I gave up on that.
Oh,
one for a
and
while.
then we didn't talk about it last week. Oh my God, Broad City ended,
Yes.
and what a sweet ending to
Really?
a really,
Yes.
really vulgar
It was
show.
so
Really
good. I know.
That's another
Really?
small dosage show. Like I keep
Yeah.
getting like headfirst into these shows, and then I'm like, wait, I need a break.
Yeah, and you
No.
do need a break.
I
from
need
that.
a
didn't know
break.
that Amy Poehler produced it.
Yeah, that's how they got on
I
the
didn't
air.
know that.
She did a lot
but I
of
thought the end was
legwork
really
for
good.
them. Yeah,
It was well done.
well done, very sweet, very goodbye New York.
Sure.
It was,
Yeah.
it was
Oh, good.
very nicely done and a very sweet ending for a show that reached levels.
Sometimes
Of
very uncomfortable.
vileness.
sometimes.
Oh yeah, that vile is a great word.
I don't think it's on your wheel, which I
Well,
inadvertently
we can
just
change
spot-
that,
Well, no,
sure.
I know you can, but I was just going to piggyback
could update
this
that.
one with because it's entertainment and the 2 people involved in the 3 people that are involved in the story. I just was curious if anybody else had seen your thoughts on the Jimmy Fallon, Paul Rudd
So
shot
good.
for shot remake,
And it is shot for shot.
of the
I
Dead
loved
or
it.
Alive, You Spin Me Around Like a Record video.
Down
and
to
then
the eye roll.
the animatronic, is that her name? Animatronic, who is from the Scissor Sisters, loses her fucking mind.
Oh, I saw that.
She's called them out criticizing the parody as homophobic. She says, quote, I'll tell you exactly why Jimmy and Paul Rudd's remake of You Spin Me Around is not hilarious and is not what we need right now. What's funny about this question, she's asking, what's funny about it? But they did it, and it's a brilliant, they did an amazing remake of the entire video.
How is it
where-
homophobic if it's a
homophobic?
shot by shot remake?
Right, I don't know how
She needs to
they're
shut up.
claiming, and again, I haven't read it, but it's been all over the interwebs.
Of course.
She's saying, but my thought is,
Why,
it
'cause
would
they're straight.
it would be different to me had Jimmy Fallon or Paul Rudd had a history of making homophobic remarks or
Right.
making fun of, but there's none
No.
at all. Paul Rudd dressed as Pete Burns doing the video is have you seen it?
Al, have you seen it?
Not all the way
It's-
through.
Oh my god, it's
I
amazing.
watched the entire thing, and I'm like, they literally like the ribbons and the transitions
it's
and the
perfection.
fan blowing hair and everything. It was fantastic, and it's a great video from the beginning in the '80s because
I
well,
remember in 1982 or 3, whenever that song came out, they were supposed to be straight.
Yeah.
That's not
Right.
supposed. There's not supposed to be
that-
anything
yeah,
gay about
maybe
that.
someone could tell her that.
Yeah.
yeah. Pete Burns and all
As
his
far as we're
androgyny.
all concerned, that was a music
They were
video made
not
by a
out.
heterosexual
Yeah.
singer
Right.
and his
with his,
heterosexual band.
with his
Right.
original face,
Right.
And
Right.
then it obviously Pete Burns
That
and
went to
went on
shit.
it. But it's a very interesting thing. But I just thought it was, if anybody had heard of that, her calling out and being like, it's
I hadn't, but
So-
it doesn't surprise me.
What she said was, she claims that Paul Rudd is being homophobic because he later said in an interview with Jimmy Fallon that he was too embarrassed to meet the Wu-Tang Clan because of the way he was dressed as Burns. And then she goes on to say that that man, that glorious, witty, glamorous, beautiful, talented, and brave force of nature was a real human being, and that's how he looked on and off stage. And he suffered because of his uniqueness. She needs to chill out.
She
Yeah.
needs to
Yeah,
calm
that's
the
not-
Calm
fuck down.
The fuck.
That's like saying if I was going to play Marie Antoinette
Down.
later, and then I
Yeah.
was going to meet somebody important and be like, "Can I take off the
Also,
costume
people
for
are
this
allowed,
thing?"
people are allowed to be embarrassed for any fucking reason
Reason
they
they
want
want
to
to,
be.
yeah.
So fuck
right.
her.
You feel how you feel,
Right.
and if you're dressed up as some cheesy 80s music
Right.
video bullshit,
Thank you for the
please
much
be
needed
embarrassed. I
perspective.
could give a shit about that song
Right.
before. I could give a shit about that song now.
This is
Right.
this politically correct
I-
liberal
But
crap.
I don't know why it was made, why they did it. I'm gonna assume that the two of them have an affinity for that
because
era of
they've
music.
got a great sense of humor.
Jimmy Fallon
yeah.
definitely does. He
It's a
definitely
tr-
loves
and,
that
and
genre
maybe
of
at one
music.
point Paul Rudd was like, when I was younger, I just thought the guy was cool.
I felt
I
it
don't know
was
what it was.
Well, I felt it was a tribute. They weren't making
Right.
any fun of anybody. It
'Cause
was a
they're-
total tribute
doing
to
it
that.
'cause they're dead on.
To one of the most famous songs in music
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
And the biggest song, I think, of the 1980s or whatever, was the most played
Yeah,
song.
Dead or
And
Alive.
I'm pretty sure
It's
they
in
have
some Guinness Book of World Records for something.
By the end of its run, it was driving me crazy. It's the song
Right.
by them.
I
need
never
to
want to hear that
Right.
song again.
Yeah.
But
So, I mean,
but
so
it's
I fully-
an epic contribution to music.
But I
though.
fully believe
Yeah.
it was the most popular song.
Yeah.
of that
But I
time.
actually bought based on that because that was my initial knowing of them, because you had Pete Burns, you had Boy George, you had Marilyn back in the day,
Right,
all those
right.
people. I actually
All the
bought
gender
like
bending.
2 or 3
Yeah.
subsequent albums of Dead or Alive that I still listen to today.
Oh, they're
because
fantastic.
I
Yeah.
just like the sound and
Me
the,
too.
it's all good.
Oh, me too.
But anyway, I just thought it was interesting, and I probably should investigate more. I don't know why
I
they
think
chose to do it.
she's somehow personally invested in this.
yeah, there's no doubt.
I can almost guarantee that Jimmy Fallon has no greater purpose than fucking clicks in doing this. Like, he
right.
wants
Oh,
people
yeah.
to watch his show and
Sure.
watch his YouTube shit.
And how
And
much
he said-
joy he gets out of pop
Right.
culture. I mean, that
And
very
he
good
said,
shit he does.
"We love this." Oh my god,
the
Talking
Give
about-
Brothers.
so funny.
So funny.
Well, him and his band redo songs with
All
the
the
children's
time.
instruments, and I think
Right.
that's fantastic too.
Hilarious.
He's just a pop culture savant. Like, there's
Yeah.
no reason to,
Yeah.
But if
in
you-
any way.
There's no
If-
greater purpose here.
But if you're listening and you've not seen it, Google, look up the Paul Rudd, Jimmy Fallon remake of "You Spin Me Round Like a Record."
I had to take
It's
their word
fan-
for it.
But
I
the
clicked on it and I
imitation
went,
is really
"Oh,
good,
this
too.
song." that turned
I think
out.
making fun of it would have been if the costume wasn't good and he couldn't dance right. I mean, he's got everything down. It's like a real tribute.
Just little
yeah.
hand gestures he
It's
does, and he's
the
on it.
eye roll.
Eye
is
rolls, yes.
Now that's minutia, but that's how good that is.
kind of, I mean, the Glee,
dancing.
the Glee Vogue by Madonna, where they get that like shot for shot, and like they have the fan right, or sometimes on that lip sync battle. There's that one lip sync
Oh, some of
battle
them are
where
so good. There's
Joseph
Gordon-Levitt does
He probably
Rhythm
doesn't want to go
Nation.
meet the president later.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
And that is so good. That's one of the best ones.
Yeah, one of the best ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like him as Janet Jackson. But again, maybe you don't want to meet,
He's got the whole thing. I got
We
it.
have to talk about the
yeah,
induction.
yeah, that was yours.
Did you watch it?
I have not watched it yet because it aired while I did not have HBO.
It's 3 solid hours long, and every minute of it is good.
Yeah.
It's so good. So the only reason I was really into it, it's the only induction in history that I can remember ever where I like the music of every single one of them.
You know what that means,
That's
Doug?
never happened. That I'm old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
When your
But-
favorite
you're our
music's
age.
getting into the Hall of Fame.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
Do they the way they induct? I mean, it can be different for people in different eras, but this was all why I cried for 3 hours while I was watching
Yeah.
it because it was all like people that like from 1983. You know, when they all
not
had
the
hits at the
zombies,
same
yeah.
time.
But not the
No,
zombies
I'm
in
saying
there, yeah.
I'm saying of
Yeah.
the formative music that I loved, like Stevie Nicks, The Cure, and Janet Jackson all had hits in 1983, like all at the same time. So I was getting like emotional
Oh, yeah,
overload
yeah.
from this experience.
Aw.
But I love the zombies too.
Yeah.
But and Def Leppard and the Cure, like all of them in the same
Yeah.
like era was like early
And
80s overload.
Speaking
for me.
of Def Leppard, there was something
They were
online, and I
amazing.
didn't realize this. They're a European band or Canadian. They're
They're
not even
English.
Aren't they German?
or
I think
something.
They were German.
I always
They're
assumed,
English.
that
Yeah.
Def Leppard was an American fucking white boy band.
No, and they
never
were so
knew.
good, and they leave
They
them
were
for the
really
end.
embraced by the white boys.
And because I didn't know who was going to be the end, but they did that. So it's so good. Stevie Nicks started off, and she did. The only thing that was a little odd is Harry Styles inducted her, and he was doing. I mean, evidently they're friends. I don't know how that happened. So he did the induction, and then he did Tom Petty's part for "Stop Dragging My Heart Around."
Oh.
But which he did
Tom
very
Petty's
well.
kind of dead.
Really good, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Don Henley came out for Leather and Lace. That was beautiful. So she did really. She did. So she started it. She was on for a while. Then later, Trent Reznor inducted The Cure, and they were great. And you know all the profiles, all that history. It's all
Yeah.
so well done. You know,
And
it's
from what I
really
heard, they
good.
sounded fantastic.
I think The Cure and Def Leppard sounded the most like age hadn't compromised the sound at all. You know,
Right,
they
right,
sounded really good. But
I don't enjoy Def Leppard at all, but I love that guy's
oh my god,
voice.
I love their music. I've always loved Def Leppard, and so it was so good. But the leads, Robert Smith.
Just don't strike me as a Def
No,
Leppard.
I love,
You
and I
just
love
don't
it.
strike me
I
as
love
that.
AC/DC, Def Leppard. So Al can back me on this. Well, maybe not because
I
you
don't
don't like them.
doubt
But
you. I just you don't strike
Def
me
Leppard's
as.
music is their songs are actually very well written. They have really good arrangements, and there was this conspiracy theory for years that they had not written them, and that it was somebody really famous, but like Elton John
Oh,
or
like
someone.
under a pseudonym.
Yes, that had been writing all their music, and they later said that's not true. But anyway, their music is a lot better than people I think give them credit for. But anyway, Robert Smith, it was a little bit of shade. Then he was like, "I'm just kidding." So they were gonna do, I think they were gonna do like one more song, but there wasn't time, and he was like, "Fucking Stevie Nicks."
Yeah.
And she did like 4. And then here's some weird things in trivia that I didn't know. So Stevie Nicks induction, it was really good, and she and Janet both did the Cat You'll Like This. They did the women thing. They said there's only 2 of us are being inducted tonight. 2020, you need to induct more women. So it was a go girl kind of girl power thing,
Oh,
which
and
was
the rock and
Turns
really
out there's
good.
more women in the world.
Yeah.
Why aren't there
You know,
more women
and
in
even
everything?
Janet Jackson,
The
I didn't. Her last thing that she said, she was like, same thing. She was like, the very last thing she said, she goes, "You need to induct more women."
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Rolling Stone magazine have 2 of the most whitewashed,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
horrible track records
Yeah.
on anything that isn't Aretha. The only woman that Rolling Stone even acknowledges exists is Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Other than her, there are no other women. Like in their 500 greatest albums of all time, like the only one in the top 100 is Aretha Franklin. It's like
Yeah.
no, there's great albums by women. Like,
Carole
work on
King.
it. Yeah.
You're right.
So,
Tapestry comes in at like 175 or something crazy.
So Roxy Music, another favorite
that's
of
a
mine,
good- yeah,
and they did
yeah.
Avalon, which is my favorite
Yeah.
song. That was fantastic. So Roxy Music was great. Janet Jackson did not perform, and I love the review on Vulture. I always read Vulture for the reviews, and they were doing they did highs, lows, oohs, and ahs for the night before, and they said, and Janet Jackson did not perform, and no one cared.
yeah.
And it's true. She was very gracious, but they said the big scandal was because it was being played on HBO, and HBO ran the documentary.
Now you have to
Neverland.
perform live. You have to perform live, and you have to perform as part of the lineup. And there are a lot of people that are more a product of a studio that it won't translate as well. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that just choose not to.
Oh no, she
perform.
said I'm not doing it because you
Oh,
ran that hit piece
but
on
she-
my brother.
But she also has
Yeah.
that on her side because
No,
I don't.
she was like that was a
I
whole
don't think
pre-done thing.
Madonna performed, and it was one of the things about Donna Summer getting inducted was she wanted to be on stage with the bands and prove her
Yeah.
chops as to like.
Vulture talked about it. They said, you don't have to perform. You can also have someone else perform for you.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
then-
dead people do.
And very often people just don't.
But hers is very calculated.
Yeah.
But she said she would accept. But she was very gracious. I liked her. I thought and it was fine that she didn't perform. Everyone was okay with it. She said something, but I always do this, and people the next day they were like criticizing her for this. She has always been a big Paula Abdul fan because
Yeah.
Paula Abdul did it, and so in her speech, and they were saying it was like false modesty, but it wasn't. She said, I really never thought I was a very good dancer or like the greatest dancer. She said, but I really love the way that dancing made me feel. And everyone was like, oh, Janet, like she was being a bitch, but like, saying
call
that
that a
she's
humble
not.
brag.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. But
Not just that, but if you
but
go-
I've actually heard her say this before because I've followed her career. She said, and then the very next thing she said, I really want to thank all the choreographers, especially Paula Abdul. They're the reason why those things were so great, not
Who
because of
choreographed
me.
her first album.
Yeah, no, I know.
And was in the video.
In the video.
And I guess I am old because I remember this when that all came out. So
Yeah.
she was only reinforcing something she said her whole fucking life. So,
Yeah,
so
and if
could we just stop criticizing Janet Jackson for saying something nice?
But I mean, that's one of those things. Like somebody's just too young to realize. Like Paula Abdul was her brother's choreography.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
She did the Victory tour, and then she went from the Victory tour to the Sister.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, this lady's really good. You want to work with her?" And then Janet Jackson told her as she was like lip syncing the songs, because you can't lip sync, you actually have to sing, or it looks funny. She was like, "You should sing." So I mean, if Paula Abdul ever gets it'll be her turning around saying,
Thanks, Janet.
you should try to sing.
Yeah.
That career just that's just stupid. That's
I know.
what I hate when someone just says something.
I know.
Just do a little bit of research.
I know. That's the thank you. Took the words right out of my mouth. I was like,
how would you
could
not
you
thank your
just
first
know that?
choreographer?
I know. And it was really heartfelt. Like it was
Yeah.
so sincere. So anyway, I thought it was charming.
Yeah.
She didn't have to perform. We've all seen her perform. Good. Yeah,
Right.
that's great. Roxy Music, great. Radiohead really was great. And then, Def Leppard did the whole exactly what they would do. It was
Yeah.
really good. And
Yeah, that is
I
a good
thought of
lineup.
you because Paul Schaefer, who's everywhere, right there in the audience.
Of course he was.
They
Oh,
kept
he
cutting-
wasn't on stage? Most of the time he's on
No.
stage for that.
And then Susanna Hoff was there, 60 years old, looking great. And they don't always do it, but they do when they do the super band at the end, and they all come out. She came out, the zombies. It was really cool.
And Paul Schaefer wasn't part of that? Oh,
They cut to him a lot, though.
Because you're probably wondering, like, shouldn't he be on stage? He
Paul.
plays,
Yeah, Paul.
Paul.
He's played keyboards for so many
I can't wait for you to see it.
Yeah.
There's not one down moment. There's no horrible gasp moment either.
Yeah.
I mean, some people when they get old, they don't. I notice that thing now. No one does the high note.
Oh, no.
Even Stevie Nicks was it Edge of 17? There's somewhere where she's supposed to do the thing, and you know who does it? The
Backup singer.
They
Oh,
did
yeah.
it. She's like, I'm not fucking with that.
Elton John stopped singing the high notes in
But
all
you
of his
know,
songs like 30 years ago.
Stevie Nicks is just Stevie Nicks. She just entered her own world,
Yeah.
and I'm just fine with it. And she knows who she is, and gave a very feminist speech. When she did the thing at the end, it was really, really good. So you
and a
will
woman who's
like
been
it.
in a musical war with everyone she knows for 40 years.
and
God
did
bless
not
her.
did not back down. And
Yeah.
then she said, "Women coming up." She said, I had to knock the men out of the way, and so I'm gonna give you the directions." And then she said later, she goes, because they were like, "How?" And she's like, "Because I'm gonna keep doing a lot of interviews, and I'll explain how all the women need to do it." And then I didn't know this. Maybe you did. Sheryl Crow is her manager. That is really, I thought, kind of odd.
I saw Sheryl Crow in the airport.
Was her
the other
career
day.
so bad that now she had to be? I mean, not that that's a bad gig, but
Sheryl Crow's her current manager?
yeah, she said, "I want to thank Sheryl Crow for," or maybe she was in the past. I don't know. Maybe I missed that part. She said something about, "I want to thank Sheryl for being my manager. I know I'm not an easy person to manage." I don't know if she's speaking past tense, or I think she
Or
means
maybe
right
there's,
now.
Maybe there's another Sheryl Crow in the picture?
No, she was sitting there at the table with her.
That's-
So we need to Google that one.
Because Sheryl Crow
We're
used to
Googling
be
it right now.
Sheryl Crow used to be a backup singer on all kinds of shit. She's
So,
backup singer
anyway.
on Black or White for Michael Jackson.
I thought it was great, and
Yeah, I watched it. Every
you
year.
all,
It was just,
you all
yeah,
have.
It was just. It was
It'll
just
bring
the
back.
weekend.
You'll have the whole '80s rush
yeah,
when you're
yeah.
watching it all over again.
I watched it because, and I got burned a couple years ago. I watched I love.
And they did Dead People really well too.
Steve Miller, because they don't always know who's inducting them.
Yeah.
They don't have a say in that very often. And whoever inducted Steve Miller, were very big fans of him. It was a very generous, very heartfelt introduction. And he was like, "Who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah.
Like, who are these clowns, and why are they talking about me?" And was just a douche for the entire ceremony. And I'm like, I love you.
Oh.
Why are you a dick?
Oh,
Because some people are.
Yeah. Turns out Steve Miller, big douche.
well, it
Son of
happens.
a bitch.
Do you have information you would like to share, or can we go to the wheel?
I would like to share that there are 3.5 women on the Rolling Stone Top 50. I know.
3.5 is
Well,
Pete Burns
Fleetwood
one
Mac.
of them?
No, Stevie Nicks
Oh.
is on there with Fleetwood Mac. Half.
Half. Because you got to give to Christine McVie, too.
Right. Well, then you've got Patti Smith, Joni Mitchell, and Carole King.
Yes.
Those-
Yay for
And
Carole
Aretha.
King.
Not on the top 50.
Top 50 what?
Rolling Stones top 500 albums. I went from
50
50
or
to 1.
500?
Oh,
Oh.
Of the top 50,
Got it.
I didn't have time to go through 500 albums.
Okay.
Okay.
I had time to go through 50. I found 3.5
Okay.
out of 50.
That's better than I would have thought.
Yeah. But still awful.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Not good.
And they have a hard on for Patti Smith, who's another, like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she
Right.
changed all of music.
Joni Mitchell, definitely.
Yeah, Joni Mitchell,
Yeah.
definitely.
Carole King, definitely.
Definitely.
Patti Smith, yeah. All right. Anyway, that's all.
All right, moving on. Here's the wheel.
Those were
Let's
facts.
see what we can
My
come up
favorite
with.
sound effect is right now.
Tick, 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 tick.
What is the topic? Stop shooting people.
Oh.
Okay, so for headlines today, and I decided not to do it because I decided to do funnier shit. But I came across an article about a woman who developed a whole product and is selling a product to try and help keep black men from being shot in their car by
Wow.
police.
Is it the wallet thingy?
Wow.
It's the wallet thingy. It's called Not Reaching.
It's ridiculous.
This
And it is a
crazy.
clear plastic wallet that attaches to the air vent close to the window so that you don't have to be reaching in your car. You know what else we could do to solve this problem?
Yeah.
Stop shooting
Yeah,
people.
Stop shooting unarmed people.
Good Lord. Like, I'm reading through the article and she's like, oh, well, I saw this. She saw,
I mean, it's a good intention on her part, though.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Jackie Carter from Pennsylvania
Thank you, Jackie.
was doing a great thing, but she saw Castillo. What was his first name? Philando Castillo.
Orlando Castillo.
Saw the story about him and she said, oh my God, somebody has to do something. What can we do?
Well, and that movie that was out last year, The Hate You Give, was about the teenagers.
Oh, yeah, that
And
was-
that's what the guy was doing. He was reaching for a brush to brush his hair. You
Right.
know? It's just horrible
Yeah.
stories like this.
You know what we could do? Stop shooting people.
Yeah, exactly.
that'd be
Excessive
okay.
use of force
Right.
would be great if it.
We have lots of
Stopped
technology in the world. We can't find
happening.
another way to bring bad guys down
I
other
know.
than shooting them.
I know.
All right.
It's
Next
horrible.
topic on the wheel
Stupid.
is.
It's awful.
Well,
Wow.
I'm not sure, but I guess there's a story behind this.
Doug, since we started the wheel, you always seem to have something in your pocket. What do you got in your pocket today? How you doing, Doug? What's going on?
I'm so
What are you thinking
confused.
about?
You mean
I don't
like
know.
you got,
Anything that we didn't-
he's got an itch to scratch, like here's something he
Anything
wants to
you
get
want
out.
to yell about? Anything that we didn't talk about yet? Anything on your mind?
No.
Good. This segment went exactly as
Wow.
planned.
Okay. well, I wasn't ready for that. I hope there's not a Clayton. How you doing?
Clayton, how you doing? No, because every time there's been kind of a
you mean
grab
when
bag.
I have something
Yeah,
on
and
my
you've
mind.
had something.
Yeah, no, I'm just too exhausted, probably.
Fair enough. No, that's fine.
Gentleman Jack.
Just as planned. So this
Just as
new series on HBO.
Oh.
Pay your HBO bill.
Yes, 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 yes.
This has all the elements to suck me right in. Okay, so it's a
Actress's name, please, because I haven't had time to Google her.
oh, I don't
I'll do
remember.
it. I got it.
You Google it.
You talk. I'll Google.
So it's a pre-industrial revolution British period piece, right? So,
I'm
so
in
it's,
already.
it's very right.
Mhm.
It's very oh, I can't even think of the book.
It's not about Jack the
God damn
Ripper,
it.
is it?
No, it's not about Jack the Ripper. So it's about a woman who's a lesbian in this time period. And she's a landowner, so she's inherited her land, so she's the landlord. And a very unique story because women didn't own things. Women didn't like the first episode. She's the landlord and she's been abroad with her lover. And then they got found out and her lover got married and whatever. Spoiler alerts. And so she's come home to lick her wounds and decide what she's doing next. And she finds out that the people that are running her estate are, the guy that was collecting the rent. He's got all kinds of shit happening, like his leg's about to fall off, like things are in disarray in the estate. And so she comes home and she's, well, somebody has to collect the rent. I'll do it. And her sister's like, that's a man's job. Why would you do that?
Right.
Very Pride and Prejudice. That's what I was
That's
going
it.
for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, so she just shows up and is like, well, I'm the landlord. I suppose I'll have to go collect the rents, and just goes about her business in a very like a woman doing
Sure, job.
men's things, very
Wow.
pre-industrial revolution, and I'm sold. It may not even be very good, but I'm gonna watch every episode.
And
Wow.
I do not know this actress, Ann Lister. Oh, the character's name. Her name is Suzanne Jones. Saran Jones. My glasses are here, but I'm not putting them on.
You're doing a great job.
I am not familiar with her, but she looks so familiar in the ads. And oh my God, are they pushing that hard during Game of Thrones?
Are they?
Yeah, that is getting all kinds of commercials. Like they want that to take off. They're putting their money behind that.
I don't watch anything live, so I
Did
don't
you see
know.
what's coming in June?
No.
Big Little Lies.
Oh yes. Meryl Streep
Streep.
back and Streep. They're hitting that. They're hitting that hard too. The commercial, because you can tell HBO because they have Veep, Barry, and that going. They've got all their award winners going. So when those ads start, it is just those Chernobyl that mini series that's coming up looks terrific. Like you can tell they're where HBO's money's going.
Yeah.
I'm okay with
Can't
it.
have dragons and dogs in the same scene. That's not possible.
Too expensive.
Yep, too expensive.
Too
Every
expensive.
joke online about that this week cracks me up. Oh, the dog was in it for a second, but ran away when the dragons came. Can't have both.
Don't know what
HBO
to
won't pay for
do.
both.
Don't know what to do.
Okay, next topic
Next
on the
topic.
wheel. See what we got.
I want people to watch the show so it stays around. The end. What did I even put on here?
Wild dudes
Oh.
be like. What is this? I can't read it. It's too small.
White dudes be like, well, but what about us?
Oh.
Listen.
Oh no.
Listen.
I don't know if is my blood pressure gonna go
As
up?
three white dudes
Does
sit in this
three
room.
white-
Does this
No,
one
no, no.
have a specific name that
It does.
posted something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I posted something and then somebody was like, oh, well, what about us? Motherfuckers.
Yeah. You're
I know.
you had
so
your time.
it is like it's a researchable, definable fact that our world and our society has been built by and for men.
For 10,000 years.
Cars are most efficient and most safe for men. You know
I
what I
have
mean?
a good one to add.
You can add anything you want. There's a lot of examples. Cars is the one that's stuck in my brain.
You know why you
Add
can add it?
anything you
Because
want.
you're a white man.
But I
White
bet you
cars.
haven't
That's
heard
how
it.
this works.
But white cars.
I probably haven't.
Can
Go
I say
ahead.
it?
Yeah, please.
So
There's a
all
microphone
the
in front of your
years that
face.
we have been studying, I don't know. I just know if you had like a time frame
Oh.
of your list of
No,
things
you know,
that were
I don't
coming.
rehearse these rants.
Okay.
They just come off the top
No,
of my
good.
head.
This blew my mind. That all the time that we have been doing research for pharmaceuticals, like Ambien, they research it on men's bodies. So you might know this from in the nursing world. So for the first like couple of years, women were not ODing, but you know what I mean. Like this
Adversely
Being
affected.
misprescribed, right.
yeah, they were over medicated and nobody even fucking bothered to think about that. And women were getting too much
Misprescribed.
medicine
Yeah.
because they were basing it on men's bodies. Like that is that is fucked
Right.
up.
There are very serious things.
Super fucked up.
And all of it designed for men.
Men. Yep.
That men pattern baldness
Right.
and erectile dysfunction comes higher than breast cancer on most research
And is
trials.
covered by insurance, but birth control's not.
Right. So I do like every once in a while. I don't put a lot of shit on social media, and I don't get into a lot of conversation on social media
Yeah,
anymore.
you
I don't
don't.
care. I don't want to. I don't care.
Yeah.
Fine. Every once in a while, something just kind of strikes me, and I throw it out there. And my favorite thing is when it has something gendered, because you know what happens to me? An avalanche of men come to tell me why I'm wrong.
Oh,
avalanche.
of course they do. They're mansplaining.
Joe
it
Biden
to
decided to run for president.
Yeah.
Great. Good for Joe.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Fantastic. And so I said, oh, good. Another
Another
old white man
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
to come overshadow and I said smarter, more qualified women.
Oh, I saw.
right.
Oh, I
Yes,
saw
and
this.
I
I said
early.
smarter, more qualified
Oh,
women.
I knew Buddy would say something about that, too.
Elizabeth motherfucking Warren got the syllabus for the semester, did all of the reading and all of the homework before the first class.
Exactly.
She has a plan a day. This bitch is putting out
Yeah.
well thought out,
Oh.
completed plans.
And
every
always has.
single
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. She has policy.
She's more prepared. She's more qualified at this point.
And
She's
Joe Biden gave a
done
rambling
more
speech
work.
that was representative of
Joe Biden
1994.
a month ago was being accused of sniffing hair.
Yeah.
The fuck do I care about him, and why do I need guys? I love
know.
you. I love you very, very much, but I don't need an avalanche
I
of
know.
men
I
to
know.
come and tell me why I'm wrong all the time.
I hear you.
When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But a pity little thing like that.
I
I don't need
know.
a bunch of guys to be like, yeah, but guys matter too. No, you fucking don't.
Right. Well, no. The response is guys have always mattered, and the response is and they've mattered more.
Well, that
so now
pendulum,
when
I'm sure swung the other way.
when
didn't it?
anybody tries to correct any level of privilege, the people on the other end always feel
Right.
something's being
We're not
taken away
taking
from them,
anything
but
away
it's
from you.
not.
I promise.
Yeah, you're not
okay.
having anything taken
Well,
away.
it's like the
You're not being
saying
challenged.
of, somebody else getting rights does not take away your
It's-
rights.
thank you.
Like
That's
you're-
exactly
it's,
right.
all water
Just because
raises
they
all
can
ships.
vote doesn't mean you're going
Right.
to vote less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Or
why
less
it
often.
It became very important to call it marriage equality.
No, I
Right.
was always,
Not
and
gay
people got
marriage.
so mad at me about it
Right.
because they're like, "Well, gay marriage." I'm like, "Marriage
No.
equality." And these are
Yeah.
gay people. I'm like, "Marriage equality, marriage equality."
Yeah.
But
That's
I
one of
know.
those. That's one of those ones where you.
marriages aren't gay, or they're just marriage.
Right.
Okay.
No, facts.
Right.
And one of the things that has to go the way of all this stuff is gay bars too. They're unfortunately
And they have to evolve. Like they
they're one of
absolutely
those
do.
things that has
You know
to
what?
evolve.
Yeah.
Come to Cobalt on a Saturday night and tell me if you think it's a gay bar.
Right. Right.
That's happening at Stacy's.
You know what I
Because
mean?
they're just bars.
Because it's a great karaoke bar. It's a lot of fun. We're gay owned and operated. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're actually only at about 70% gay staff now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
It's changing, but that's
it's changing
that's
and it's an okay
organic
thing.
at least.
Right.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
organic
It's an okay
change.
thing. It's
Because
a
it
good
becomes
thing.
a neighborhood bar, which becomes open
Yes.
to everyone.
And we're
yeah.
still involved and contribute to the gay community. Like we still do
it's
all the fundraising and all the bullshit
It's a fantastic
that we've always done.
Yeah.
model or way to be.
Yeah, but it's okay for things to change.
Absolutely.
Super okay. Inclusion-
Absolutely.
inclusion
And
works
it's
both
also
ways.
okay for those who don't want it to change to have their opinions about why it shouldn't change.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But
Well, sure,
Sure.
but you're all gonna end up in the one bar.
yeah.
Well, that seems to work out pretty well for me.
Is that it? There's no more on the wheel?
No, we're done with the wheel. We only do like 4 topics.
No. Do one more.
No,
I didn't even
done.
look at the wheel. What if I wanted to talk about something on the wheel?
you'll save it for next week. And
All right.
Okay,
we're wrapping this up.
fair enough.
Stick a fork in the pig, kids. I got a Rachel Maddow to watch.
Oh, I was listening to her on the way in. She said something airy fairy, and then she said, "No offense to the airy fairies."
Oh,
I was so excited that she was like
nice.
sensitive to the feelings of the airy and the fairy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious to see what
Now
this
I
is all
want to see
about.
what it is.
Yeah?
It was from last night's show. I don't remember what she was talking
I
about.
still have it.
I haven't watched last night's show either.
Oh.
Such
There
as
you
I
go.
follow
But
from
as we
behind.
wrap up tonight's show, let's leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday, if you're lucky.